Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, it's obvious what the show is going to be about. We spoke about it last week. It happened this morning. The live letter number 44, patch 4.3, part 2 live letter, because these can't ever be simple names. But to talk about that, we're going to need to introduce some other guests. And one of them is gradually shaking his head at me with a very awkward smile. And we'll introduce him in a second. I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Pope. Of course, joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka you, my boy Blue. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Tired. I'm very tired. I've been up since 2 a.m. I've got a rum and coke right here for this show to help keep me awake. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I need it. And I've got the audio set up to at least mostly on the Twitch side so they can actually hear you instead of me forgetting, like, to swap it over like I have been previous weeks.
Yay. Days without incident, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's no incident here. I've kind of just come to accept the conditions until I'm able to actually stop and find out whatever the hell happened when I messed with my audio settings weeks ago. But hey, they can hear you now, and you're not dead. It's not just me talking to nobody. All right? Yeah. And of course, couldn't just be Slyh and me on this show. We also had to bring on another guest. I asked him kind of last minute, but he still managed to oblige, and that would be our very good friend, I think, Ethys Asher. How you doing, Ethys?
Hey, gosh.
Hi, Ethys. Well, I don't know if you like us. I've never heard you say it, so you just kind of show up.
Yeah, all right, I'll give you that.
Yeah, so
I think I need to go home and do some soul searching, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard you say you love me.
Do I like these guys? They never look at me during, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't look at you after either, so...
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. But, I mean, it's mutual, so maybe that's the common ground.
That's true. Yeah, it's sustainable, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's not go digging at it. Let's just leave it how it is.
Yeah, I think we've got a good thing going right here.
And by the by, we normally get the meme a little bit early, but we got it like right at show start, and it's very fitting.
It's very fitting. We might need to watch it at the end of the show, because I'm not going to be able to stop and watch it now, because then I won't be able to finish the show most likely. That's true. Ethys did call me Pumpkin when I asked him if he could come on the show, so there's a connection there.
Did I?
Yeah, you said sounds good, Pumpkin.
Oh.
I guess I did that. All right, if you say so. There you go.
Oh my god, Wolf, that's really good. I like that one.
All right, you guys watch it. I'll watch it a little bit later. All right, so we have live letter 44, the second half of the patch 4.3 preview. We have dates for everything. Yep. We have a preview of pretty much everything, a better idea of how everything's going to work, and of course we have a trailer.
Of course we do.
So we should probably start the show with a trailer, I guess. It seems like a good idea. Overall, before we even get into the trailer, what did you guys think of it? Because this is one of the shortest trailers that they've, I guess, kind of ever done. I mean, they've been moving to this new format, but this one was like noticeably shorter. It was only, I think, 3 minutes 43 seconds.
I've been a fan of the new format. I like it short and sweet, and like no fluff. Like, here's all your recipes and your hairstyles and all that. Yeah, it got to the point, and from the content, from what we saw, I really loved it. Can't wait to see it in action.
What about you, Ethys? You a fan of a 3 minute 43 trailer, or did you like the old 8 minute trailers?
I mean, I more content is good, but Sly's right that the old trailers were an awful lot of fluff and just like, new hairstyles, new glamours, new emotes. And they put like as much time into that as they did into the interesting stuff, and it's like.
And then they would just show like one picture of one quick thing of Hildebrand flexing every single time, just in a different place.
Yeah,
it always felt good.
So I think this one was really good. It was really good.
All right, well, let's see if the chat agrees, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to swap the audio back over to something else so you can't hear any of us, and we are going to play the trailer. So, gentlemen, I'll see you in the next 4 minutes. Slyh, eat a wing, because you're dying. You got your food right in front of you, I know.
It's downstairs. I'm good.
Oh, I should have. All right. All right, it's not enough time then. It's not enough time. Right. All right, yeah, and if you don't know what happened in 4.2, spoilers. because like there's no way around it with this show and with this trailer. While they're not going to tell us everything, there's some pretty major 4.2 spoilers in this trailer. So.
How long ago was Spoiler Cast anyway? Like what?
We did it the week after last time, so it was 15.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
like 13 weeks ago at this point. We did it pretty immediately, and we're going to do it immediately again. Except actually, we have to wait 2 weeks next time because the live letter is the following week. There's a live letter. No. We can do a spoiler cast the week after for this one. So, Ethys, by the way, we would like to have you on the show in a few weeks for spoiler cast. Get that out of the way now.
Great. Okay.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to swap the audio overs. They won't hear either of you. I'll shut myself up, and let's enjoy the trailer for patch 4.3, Under the Moonlight.
To the very depths I have sunk. My soul steeped in spite, rotten to the core.
Be? He took his own life after the battle in Alamigo.
Without our knowledge and expertise, our new friends will be hard-pressed to contend with a foe for whom death is but a minor inconvenience.
You will pay for what you have done with blood!
I have no doubt you believe what you say. The idea is inconceivable, absurd, but worthy of investigation nonetheless.
In the meeting room or the audience chamber, there I can make a difference. I can strike bargains, forge ties, and change minds.
Is something wrong, Suyu?
I'm sorry. I'm so...
I'm sorry.
Here, there's no need to cry.
Will you surrender to anger then? Slay an anointed emissary to avenge a fallen foe? Chosen agent, the hand which tolls the warning bell.
Oh dear.
All right, and that is the patch 4.3 trailer. By the way, in case you didn't know at the end there, join 10 million adventures worldwide at freetrial.finalfantasy14.com. Every time I watch that trailer, man, it reminds me of why I like when Soken gets to make his own music and not remasters. Because the music in that trailer is fantastic, and you know that that's not just a remaster of some other theme. Unless you know, there's times where it is. It's the the tactics theme, but by God, so good, so good. All right, well, there's a few things to talk about with that trailer in itself. But I feel like as we go through the live letter information, we'll probably get into the specifics of that. Before we get into the live letter, is there anything in particular you want to pull from the trailer and make sure that, regardless of the rest of the show, we actually have a discussion about it right here? Ethys, I know because the trailers don't have fluff anymore, everything in the trailer is something you want to discuss.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, there's a lot of story-related stuff happening there. There's no shortage of lines you can look at or occurrences that you can kind of dissect.
That's true. Well, look, the live letter still doesn't talk about the trial.
Yes.
Because they said they're going to try to keep
Although I will say this, it is for certain present in the trailer. They just don't show you who the boss is.
Definitely. So I guess since the live letter doesn't touch on it, I was going to ask you guys whether you've got any opinions on what the trial is going to be.
I still like the theory of what I saw the community come up with is that it's the moon god Tsukiyomi. What's it called? With Yatsuyu as a vessel.
And I'm kind of leaning towards that after watching the trailer. Like, I didn't know, what did I say? What was my guess? I don't even think I can make a guess, but I really think it's Yatsuyu as a vessel, and like basically what we saw were ads. Like all the memories are ads. So
yeah, those are all very much illusions or memories of some kind, and there's representation. The big one there that people pulled, and before they realized that they were just memories or illusions, was the one with Xenos against Gosetsu, because they showed what appears to be the image of Xenos slaying Gosetsu. People have suggested that Xenos is her past, Gosetsu is her present and or her future, and that they're battling within her conscious. In a sense, and that Xenos winning there is what would happen if you fail that mechanic, I guess, or fail that little phase within the encounter itself.
Yeah, that's basically what I took from it as well. I mean, some people were suggesting before we saw this that maybe it would be Amaterasu, but the focus on all the the moonlight in the water and the patch title and everything about it. Yeah, it's still definitely making me think it's going to be Tsukiyomi. And I agree that Yotsuyu is probably going to be a vessel for it. So
Amaterasu would have made more sense last patch.
I think either of them were fair guesses before we saw the trailer. Asahi obviously leaning more towards the sun and Yotsuyu leaning more towards the moon. But those visions, without even seeing the boss, just... And one thing that's worth mentioning, a lot of people are suggesting this could be a solo instance, but if you look at the one where you are fighting the generic Garlean, I guess there's one of you killing Yatsuyu's parents, there's one of you killing generic Garlean soldiers, there's one of, and then there's Xenos and Gosetsu. The one where they're killing the generic Garlean ones, there's a Dark Knight with the tome weapon, that the one that looks like a samurai weapon, tanking the ads. There's a machinist DPSing, and then there's the Warrior of Light character in the trailer. So it's clear there's more than a single person, and it's unlikely those are part of Swallow's Compass. I feel pretty confident saying those aren't part of Swallow's Compass.
Then again, we could be wrong.
Could be wrong. I feel fairly confident in that. I don't think Yatsuyu's visions are going to take place in the tomb of the first Geomancer.
No, that would be a bit strange.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're pretty much on the right track there.
Yeah. So there's it. It looks like an intense patch. Like I very much got the same vibes I would have gotten from 3.3 or 2.5 from the trailer itself, without the part 2 style storytelling. So
yeah, totally. Well, the impression that I definitely get, so I've been getting a lot of people asking me recently whether I prefer the Heavensward or the Stormblood story. I'm like, well, the Heavensward story didn't really find its legs until 3.3, and I'm kind of suspecting that it's going to be the same for Stormblood, and this is going to be the trailer where everyone's like, oh, you know what, actually, yeah, I'm way into this.
Yeah. And another thing is it's hard to judge the two without bias when we've seen all of 3.0 to 3.5.
Yeah, exactly. You need to wait till you see it.
I will say it's fair to judge just 3.0 against 4.0 though, and to really have, I guess, a solid emotion about those two. And it seems the community is pretty split about those two in particular. So, so we're gonna pull up the unofficial translation from Discord, gentlemen. If you like, I can provide you with a link to said discussion. Already there. Ethys, would you require one? You're already there
on the subreddit Discord.
Yes. Again, credit to Illuna Minori. They've been doing we've been using their translations, their unofficial translations, for the last few my videos. State of the Realm. So, and Hezkezel with plenty of images.
Hezkezel.
Yeah. He said he apologized for not taking enough pictures of the trailer the first time they showed it.
That's great.
Because but the first time they showed it, he's like, I was just watching it. I couldn't.
Too high.
I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So if you'd like to follow along, guys, if you type in the chat !doc, I don't know if that invite to their Discord will work. It might only be one of the one-day invites. If not, go directly to the Final Fantasy XIV Reddit, open it in the browser and go to the translations and mining section, and we'll basically be starting right from the top with the trailer itself and just going straight down the information, throwing in speculation based on stuff we saw in the trailer. So with that, gentlemen, do you have everything you need for this show at this point? You got your water, you got your bevs, you got your knowledge that your hot wings are getting cold downstairs.
Just rub it in, dude.
You should have brought them upstairs and just had one. I'm telling you had 4 minutes.
I mean, really, can you eat one in like?
I can eat a wing in 30 seconds. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would have gone through at least 6 wings.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
Yeah,
okay, exactly. That's fair. Okay. So first thing, to everyone's surprise, this patch is coming out May 22nd. Nobody expected this.
No.
You don't need to call Reba. You don't need to call.
No, I'm not.
You don't need to call Reba on this one. I think even she'd think you're wasting her time at this one.
Yeah, pretty much.
But wait, Ethys, you're making it seem like that wasn't 100% set in stone.
What, the 22nd wasn't 100% set in stone? I thought it was going to be the 22nd or the 29th.
You're still 50-50 on the two?
Yeah, I still was. Yeah.
I was until they said it could have been ready mid-May or they could release it mid-May. At that point, I was like...
Yeah, mid-May threw a lot of people off.
And also, as soon as they gave us the day for the live letter, that's usually a dead set, like, it will absolutely be this day kind of indicator. And without fail, Square Enix has done it again.
Yeah.
All right, so with the actual stuff, they first just recapped everything that's going to be in the patch, both in the patch itself and things that will have timing in the .x versions of the patch. So let's do a recap. New main scenario quests, big thing of the trailer. New side story quests with the Four Lords and more Hildebrand adventures. We have new Beast Tribe quests. Listen, Sly, you and I can't say hooray because everyone keeps telling us that the Hildebrand quest is great.
That's why I'm saying hooray, and we haven't even done like the past Hildebrand.
And I loved Heavensward Hildebrand towards the end was fantastic, and everyone keeps telling me it's that quality. And the
Stormlord ones have been really good.
And yeah, except the first one, obviously, the first one is just 15 minutes of setting it up. But everyone keeps telling me 3.25 was the equivalent of 3.45 and 3.55 Hildebrand, which I said if they're that quality, I don't mind not having trials, and I don't mind them being short. So that's good.
I still kind of mind.
I don't mind. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love a trial or something. I love, the stuff that they did with A Realm Reborn's Hildebrand. It was super
patch.
exciting.
That's all I'm saying. Is at least one patch.
Yeah,
we get a trial.
A Realm Reborn's is always crazy exciting because it was you had these new trials to look forward to, and you got to see the re-envisioning of these classic characters. But I guess after all these years, we've seen so many classic Final Fantasy characters, especially now with Omega,
in other places.
That it's I guess it's less of a desire for me to see them do it than it was way back when they were
that or the well is running dry.
I mean, at this point, like they used Ultros as an ad in 07, so it's like So and Dada Luma's a reskin of Xande. It's hard. It's so much of that now that I can't just say, they need to do this callback anymore. New Beast Tribe quest, the Namazu. I can't wait to talk about that this stream. I am ecstatic to talk about it. I've never thought I'd say it, but I'm ecstatic to talk about that this stream. We got a better idea of the Domin reconstructions, new side quests. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Other things, the Swallow's Compass, the only dungeon we're going to be adding, the new Trial, which is Unknown and Unknown Extreme, the new 24-man Alliance raid of the Ridorana Lighthouse, the new Deep Dungeon, Heaven on High. Sly's a big fan. The Forbidden Land of Eureka, Pagos, and the Weapons Refrain Ultimate, which is Uwu, Ultima Weapon Ultimate.
Uwu.
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 Can I get some Uwus in the chat, please?
Uwu.
Job adjustments, PvP updates like HUD adjusted, training ground map revision, frontline daily campaign rotation, glamour system, the ability to take. Yeah, see, Sly's a big fan of that. See, that's why we don't have Burn on the show, because if I had said that, he would have walked out in the first 5 minutes. All right. Glamour system updates to reclaim items that you turn into glamour, the new glamour stone thing, whatever it is. They throw in the dresser, stuff you throw in the dresser, and the ability to use them on squadrons. Performance action updates, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Message books or guest books being added. Duty Roulette normal raids for Alexander normal, and presumably maybe Deltascape normal might make an appearance there. Custom delivery client Kurenai and Suino Sato, and Crossworld link shells, as well as a handful of other things that they announced recently on the website. So I guess the first detail to pull from this is they specifically give patch numbers for the 3 things we had questions about: Ultimate, Pagos, Heaven on High.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate's 4.31.
And we
Pagos would be Eureka, yes.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? So we have Ultima Weapon. They told us last live letter that would be delayed 2 weeks. So we knew that in the previous live letter would be 4.31. So that's looking to be June 5th. We then have 4.35 is Heaven on High, and 4.36 is Pagos. So I guess my only question to you is 4.35 just 2 weeks after 4.31? Is it still 5 to 6 weeks after the patch and then another 2 weeks for Pagos? Like, what do you think is the actual cycle of dates for those individual patches?
I think 3.5 is going to be mid-June, I'd say.
So 2 weeks after you'd say 2 or 3 weeks after the 5th?
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks after, yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully.
And 4.36 a week or 2 later?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you? What about you, Sly?
It's killing me that it's so staggered. Yeah, 4.35. Definitely after the E3 live letter.
Yes.
So sometime in June. As far as 4.36, I'm looking at a calendar right now. If I had to put a exact date on it, maybe July. It's a Thursday, 12th.
July 12th. All right, let me pull up a calendar real quick, because I think they're going to be exactly staggered 2 weeks apart from each other. I think the only one that might show a little bit of difference is 4.35, because they may want to give 3 weeks, because Ultimate's not exactly expected to be something people go through quickly. But they also know it's such a small percentage of the community, it shouldn't really be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So June 5th for Ultimate, June 19th for Heaven on High, and July 3rd would be my guesses for Pagos. Pretty much 2 weeks staggered all across the board. Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. And how do we feel about this? Because when you look at the patch without those 3 things, the initial release of 4.3 starts to look a little light compared to, I guess, what you may expect when a main numbered patch actually launches. But in exchange for that, let's say that it does take 2 weeks for each one. We're 6 weeks into a patch. We're just 10 weeks from the next patch after that. Do we prefer the staggered release and feeling like we have a new reason to log in every couple of weeks? Or would we just rather full nerd mode for the first, I guess, week or two and just have it all at once?
Ethys?
No, I think that what we're getting at first is plenty. We're getting Lighthouse of Ridorana straight up. And, we're all going to be spending a bit of time on that. And then we've got a new extreme mode to farm. And, most of us, even that are going pretty hard, can easily spend like a couple of weeks in there farming that.
You might be able to. I'm not as I guess it depends. If there's a Byakko like air phase, I'm not going to survive more than 10 kills, man.
No, Byakko was honestly pretty tedious, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I'm questioning the vision part of the fight And if I think it's better because you're actually fighting things versus it reminds me more like Alexander's. If you go back to A12, how he had the 4 portals.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking something similar. But I think like for most of the player base, we can easily, and we usually do, spend a couple of weeks just like farming extreme and not really doing much else anyway.
Fuck, give me a couple of days.
You just want to. You would be okay if we got Tuesday was one of these things and Friday was like heaven on high or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I would be okay with it. I would be okay with it. I'd live with it quite some time. But honestly, I prefer the whole staggered approach.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Spread it out a little bit. I would prefer it a little bit more spread out because we as a community have been known to squeeze the life out of all the content we had.
Oh yeah.
For like large amounts of time. It's what we've been used to. So for them to do it staggered like this, it is good, but I feel like it's going to draw the impatience of a lot of players.
I think it draws the impatience of players like me. And I'm okay with this. I already have other things planned for the weeks in between. Literally, just to throw something out, Bless Online announced their closed betas the 30th of May now. And I feel like I'll probably be pretty comfortable to put a few days into that without having to worry about missing stuff in 4.3. E3 is the week after Ultimate starts. So I have that to occupy the weeks in between there. Yeah. And then as we get into July, I mean, there's things like Octopath towards, the second or third week of July as well. Like there's things around these days that make me not mind it here, but in the future, there may not be that same thing. I'm already thinking to September where 4.4 is suggested, Spyro remaster, Spider-Man, Tomb Raider. Like there's a bunch of things happening in September that may not.
Why are you reminding me that like the next few months are going to be as fucking hectic as
Because
May?
This is one of those years for gaming where you love being a gamer.
It is, but it's just hell on us.
Listen, man, Square Enix gave me enough time to 100% God of War and enjoy the hell out of that. So they'll give me enough time to enjoy some other stuff. We had Dragon Quest 11 in September.
Yeah,
that's another massive one. I'm just saying, so that looks to be the timing for 4.4 is like the second week of September. So if they stagger shit there, and even numbered patches don't have the privilege as much as odd numbered patches do, but still. Let's be honest, I'll beat Omega in like 2 fucking days anyway, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll be going that hard in 4.4 anyway, so that it's dead in 2 or 3 days regardless. So, I'm just saying, I'm kind of okay with it in this patch. I don't know if I'll be okay with it every patch, and I think that people like me, but who just dedicate more time to 14 on the regular will probably get pretty fucking impatient with this, especially when we actually talk about what Heaven on High is actually looking to promise, what our expectations are for Pagos, etc., etc. It's not super high, but I guess if you're willing to enjoy the new daily rotations for Frontlines, if you're someone who does roulettes every day and now you have the normal raids to fill your time a little bit more, you probably get a lot more out of this initial 4.3 release than people like me who just look at the beating everything once and then what else can I do? And besides, we got to see Snoo Snoo in the trailer.
I cannot wait till we actually get a fucking name for this so we can stop.
If they call him Snoo Snoo, I'm going to lose my mind. They can't. They can't happen. It just won't. It can't happen. I'm just saying. It better not. All right, so let's actually get into the patch itself. One of the first things they talked about was, and I know we're not going to go into the job adjustments yet. They actually mentioned that Kurenai specifically is the third delivery client. I don't remember. So she's part of the Ruby. She's part of she's in Sui no Sato, but I don't remember her exact role. So Ethys, would you like to enlighten everyone who Kurenai actually is?
I don't think she's actually in Sui no Sato at the moment.
But okay, well, would you like to tell people who she is then?
I think she's one of like the temple priestesses, right?
From the Shisui of the Violet Tide?
No, she's isn't she the impersonator of the Empress?
Yeah, I think she's like the doppelganger, isn't she?
Yeah.
There you go.
The body double.
She apparently wants to bring change to Sui no Sato. That's kind of the premise with which she exists. And for that, she needs custom deliveries and the ability to play dress up, apparently.
Oh, no, She is the princess. I was thinking she was the twin of the princess.
No, she is.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, no, because they've got like a sort of Queen Amidala thing going on between them.
There you go. She is the princess.
Yeah. So she's the Natalie Portman to the other Keira Knightley.
Yeah, and her friend that we fight in the dungeon is the body double.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Okay, there we go.
There you go. Thank you, chat, for fixing that for us. And you can play dress up with her at max rank.
Yay!
But she can't use our glamour dressers, so she's worthless. All this new glamour feature, new NPC can't even use it. How disappointing.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad, man. Oh boy. Yeah, that's I have nothing against the feature. I don't think I visit Suino Sato enough to even possibly care. Mm-hmm. And I don't think her being my custom delivery client is necessarily going to make me care. So it's just kind of a weird, I don't get it kind of thing.
But if they attach some story to it, I'll be happy. Because you know, with Monago and sort of making this fun for like the widows of resistance soldiers and stuff, like that's pretty compelling. But we've already got like so much story and lore.
But you didn't change what Monago was wearing.
Oh yeah, well
you didn't throw her into a Thavnarian bustier or anything like that.
Yes. So that was a missed opportunity. No, I'm just saying that like once we leave Suino Sato, it's like I'm the same as you. Like I basically never come back. I'm here at the moment, and I'm looking around, and she's not here at the moment. But I'm just sort of thinking like once I did all the side quests here, it's like I never came back here, and I never really had a reason to. And I think it would be nice to have a bit more story and a bit more lore. To build up this place, because it's looking a bit sad and empty at the moment.
I didn't even do Monago's custom. I did all of Zloe's. I'm max rank with Zloe, but I never even bothered with Monago. So I don't know that I'm going to be 100% convinced that Kurenai is necessarily worth my time either. I haven't decided that yet.
Well, I think for people that are already like inclined to do that kind of content, they'll probably find it pretty rewarding. So,
hey, custom delivery's got some decent rewards. You can turn scripts into money.
Yeah,
that's the truth. Then we get into they were brave to actually straight up start with job adjustments. That was brave.
Oh yeah.
Of all the topics for you to jump into first, that is easily.
I think people were pretty happy though, right?
I guess it could. They expected less.
Content
overall
would be a good word.
I think Dark Knights, a lot was left to be desired still, but there's again without the full patch notes. There's not much to take away. Now, what's there initially, if those of you who are actually looking at the Discord translations right now, you might just be scrolling down and then seeing what Aluna had initially translated. If you actually go towards the bottom from a Japanese blog that just posts it in Japanese, there's no translation required there. They just took the information straight up that was said in Japanese and put it in a blog. So Aluna translated that, and we got, I guess, a little bit more clarity on what the goals were with these changes. So altogether, 7 jobs are going to be getting changes. Last time we only heard 3. Now we found out it's going to be 7. Dragoon avoided anything, Sly. So no more buffs for you. You're done. Your Dragoons are done for the expansion, Sly. No more welfare unskilled Dragoon buffs. All right.
We never asked for them anyway. What the fuck?
But every time
you're saying this, you direct this shit at me like I asked for this. I'm like, bro, no, I'm happy. Okay, stop giving me free shit.
Yeah, we were happy in 4.0.
Yeah.
No, you weren't.
I was.
No, you weren't.
I mean, well, the only thing was like Dragon Sight. That was my only.
Yeah, there were. Let's be fair. The actual 4.0 to 4.1 Dragoon deserves some stuff. All right.
Yeah,
it was after that where things got a little.
But we weren't begging for it.
You two.
No.
Not you two. Not you two in particular. But they were out there. And every time Sly sees Dragoon, he goes, "All right."
If there's any Dragoons out there that are mad or salty that we didn't get any attention this patch, pull your head in. All right. Cut it out. Stop being a baby.
All right. So first up, we got Dark Knight. Probably of the 7 jobs, one of the 2 most anticipated to hear changes. They openly acknowledged that they had read a lot of the feedback about changes that should be made systematically to Dark Knight. and said that they would ultimately require a full rework of the job to implement a lot of the suggested changes, which would take approximately 6 months. So that the changes for now they would consider more on a minor scale to give them more usability and more DPS. But I was glad to at least see them acknowledge that that they had seen the changes that people were suggesting and had already kind of developed the timeline for it. Because if you're not going to actually take those suggestions seriously, you don't bother developing a timeline. Just see that and go, it's too much work. They actually said, well, okay, these are what the players want. How much time would we need to incorporate this? They took it to that stage. So I was at least happy to see them acknowledge that, the community wants something more systematic when it comes to Dark Knight's changes. But you're not getting it yet.
Do you think they are committed to it?
I don't think they'll do it in this expansion. They may have given a timeline of 6 months. I don't think it actually happens in the expansion. I don't think we see a 4.4 Dark Knight rework. Although with Warrior, Warrior in 2.1 and arguably in 4.1 has seen what would be considered pretty dramatic changes in gameplay style. It's not unfeasible that Dark Knight could get it in 4.4.
Warrior was in a far worse place in 2.0 than Dark Knight is right now.
I will say, but they still turned it around in what was the matter of a single patch. They had to wait for feedback before doing that. Same with 4.0 to 4.1 Warrior, or 4.2 Warrior, my bad. But then you also could say it took till 4.2 for Warrior to actually get what would be considered the major changes that change. So it did take 2 whole patches. So I don't think it's unreasonable that Dark Knight could actually see something of substance in 4.4. I'm just not holding that expectation personally. Just to be clear, no adjustments to Dark Arts, which I think they said that because a lot of people have specifically spoken about how Dark Arts is just this I hit it constantly button. It doesn't necessarily feel interactive. It's just going through the motions pretty much. Potency increases, defense portion increased, which is not very specific, but something defensively will improve for the job. I don't know if you guys have any predictions on that front. I know none of us are experienced Dark Knights. It's hard for any of us to speak kind of intelligently or from a place of knowledge about this.
So I won't.
So we won't.
I think TBN is the big thing that people look at for that, if not Dark Mind. Dark Mind being magic only kind of puts that cooldown in a similar place to Paladin's old block cooldowns in Heavensward. So for me, I look at those 2 skills for possibilities. Usability improved is also such a general term. The only thing that Dark Knight I ever feel has usability improved is TBN. They've done it several patches now. But Dark Passenger is a skill people are expecting to see something change, at least the potency buff. And overall, 8 skills will get changes in this patch for Dark Knight.
Wow, that's pretty dramatic.
Substantial enough, considering they called them minor buffs. To still make changes to 8 skills is not necessarily a bad thing. Specifically, one thing, and this is going to be a recurring theme in the rest of the notes, is Plunge is getting its animation reduced so that it'll more quickly get you from where you start using it to the actual target. Do we think that that's something that necessarily needs to happen with Plunge? They've done it with some other skills recently. Black Mage, even though they're mentioned here, also got that change to ethereal manipulation. Shikuchi had some pretty major animation speed ups when it came to that stuff. As Dragoons, which have always been stuck with, which you guys have been through the animation shortenings many times. Do you think that other jobs kind of need that treatment as well?
I feel like it's a necessary evil eventually for all jobs that actually have something like a position mover. It's kind of funny that they kind of go through it job by job instead of actually looking at movement as a whole for all jobs. So again, it's definitely required. They should just take all the jobs and look at jobs that have position movement skills and just go ahead and just do a quick sweep of an animation change.
Speed them all up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so the problem that we used to have with our jumps and dives is that they were a regular part of our rotation and they were clipping the GCD like massively.
And according to chat, Plunge does curray suffer from that issue.
It does clip the GCD. So are we using Plunge like as part of our regular rotation? We're not.
Well, it does damage. So I'd have to imagine if you're not saving it to close a gap for an ad or something, you have to be using it, I imagine.
Yeah, because that for me would be the sort of stickler is like, if it's not a regular part of your rotation, then it's not such a big deal. But if it is something that you're using like on cooldown, then you really don't want it clipping the GCD like at all.
So then we'd agree that actually is a pretty substantial quality of life change for Dark Knights.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
Agreed.
Definitely.
I don't think 2 Dragoons can necessarily say, no, that's dumb. It'd be pretty shitty for you guys to be like, no, they shouldn't worry about it.
Only us. We're the only ones that get to jump. Not fair.
They don't jump nearly as high, though, so don't worry.
That's true, yeah.
Clearly, that's what matters right there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more of a hop.
Okay, so Monk and Samurai both got some adjustments as well. Monk and Samurai are both getting some sort of new enmity skill. Now, when I initially read this, it seemed kind of weird to me, and then I remembered that what the other 2 melee jobs do, it kind of makes sense. You have a jump that halves your enmity.
Yeah.
And ninjas can literally take their enmity and put it, a portion of it for some time on somebody else.
Yeah.
Diversion got buffed to 90%, though, so I was still kind of surprised to see even more in the enmity department.
So, I mean, I hate using diversion. I hate taking it. I prefer to take like bloodbath. And I've constantly got my tanks being like, oh, why didn't you use diversion? I'm like, because I got a fucking ninja in the party, and because my healers are trying to get 90th percentile DPS. Like, I'm trying to keep myself alive.
Well, I don't know. I'm very unfamiliar. As again, I don't play Dragoon very often, and I don't really pay attention when I play with other Dragoons. So I don't know the frequency with which you use your backflip as a gap closer, which would in essence cut enmity as well.
Or an escape.
Whatever. For whatever reason, I don't know the frequency with which you basically cut your enmity.
I use it as a gap closer, like in Kifca, for instance. I'm basically using it on cooldown as a gap closer.
All right. So then the need for diversion, obviously diminishes.
The need for diversion is purely like for opener.
Yeah.
Really.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So do we? So I guess what I would normally think is that it's something along those lines, something in some way that is just reducing enmity. But with Monk, they specifically make the mention the trade-off is firepower, which is odd to me. When to be fair, your backflip very often can be a quote trade-off for firepower. You're jumping away from the enemy. You don't use it like that most of the time. But when I read that, it almost makes you think like tornado kick's going to cut enmity. You know what I mean? Because that would technically be a trade-off for power.
That's so strange, though.
It is.
It's weird.
It's really weird to specifically make... Again, it's an unofficial translation. Worth mentioning that. It just seems like a weird concept to me to have a trade-off for power specifically for enmity. And somebody else brings up purification could have it, and that would be a trade-off of not using forbidden chakra. That is another...
I think that would be more likely if it was purification.
Yeah. So if there's a couple of options for Monk. I guess that comment without much more context is just a little confusing. Samurai, on the other hand, potency everywhere,
which is good,
I guess. And Samurai, they don't make mention of a loss of power. Enmity control in one of Samurai's skills. I can't imagine that's diversion / Shadewalker / Smokescreen. You think that their jump back gets an enmity cut? Because they have a jump back that has, I guess, a little bit more of an attempted practical use.
Yeah, I think so. Because giving them like Shadewalker or Smokescreen or something like that would, I mean, they've talked about this before, like people asking for Trick Attack on Samurai, people asking for like Shadewalker on Samurai. It's like, no, that takes away from the identity of Ninja, and it actually takes away from the identity of Samurai as well, because it's not what Samurai's about. Samurai's about,
Don't talk to white mages about losing identity to roll actions. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Just don't talk to white mages about it, and don't talk to Dark Knights about it either, because they lost from Frysel and Low Blow and some.
I'm just saying, like, Yoshida's made that point like multiple times that he doesn't want to give Samurai those kinds of tools because the tools that Samurai is supposed to be bringing to the table is superior DPS. So getting these potency increases is absolutely like 100% necessary.
And if you have potency increases, you need enmity.
Yeah,
but that necessarily doesn't solve the problem itself.
No, but I will say this: Black Mage is literally the caster version of Samurai. We always talk about supposed to be the pure DPS. Black Mage is basically the Samurai of the caster DPS, and absolutely. Black Mages.
But they still bring something else to the table other than Samurai.
Well, I mean, arguably they don't bring anything much. Basically, they bring APOC, and Samurai brings Feint.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that's not entirely, because there's what did they change virus to? What's it called now? As the virus, they split up into two segments: Faint and Addle. Addle. That's the one. Yeah, so they do technically bring Addle, they bring APOC, technically Mana Shift, although with Black Mage it's a bit fickle to use it. Samurai technically has Goad, which would be the melee equivalent of Mana Shift, but people don't need TP because it's infinite now. So
yeah, but again, those actions are not part of the job's identity.
Yeah, and I
just look at the jobs,
and any of the casters could bring that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and same with Samurai. Any of the other melee could bring those things.
Yeah. So I agree that Samurai is supposed to have the same sort of melee identity to the Black Mage among the other casters.
And Black Mages right now are pretty happy. Like I've spoken with a lot of career Black Mages who say the job feels like they feel good playing well on it now. They don't feel like they have to be playing something else if they don't want to, if they're proficient on it enough.
Mm-hmm.
Samurai should be able to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll still get, people will still tell you that you're fucking shit for playing the job because it's been memed on for a year now.
Yeah.
But, at least if you play it well, you should be okay at the very least.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, if people say that you're playing shit at Samurai, just make sure you do more DPS than them. And then
and make it like a substantial number as well. Yeah. Make it like 2,000.
Just do like 1,000 more DPS than them. If you've got like a bard or something, it's like, oh, Samurai. Then you just point to your big purple pass and
scoreboard.
Shut up, won't they?
Scoreboard. Yeah, just pointing to say scoreboard.
No, that's why I went with 2K DPS. 1K DPS to me is not, because they'll be like, oh, Trick Attack could have done that. They'll give me some shit like that, Oh man.
Oh, you didn't have Dragoon for my piercing.
There you go. So a Ninja getting some usability. They're getting a usability change, but according to the context of the blog, they specifically refer to Deep Dungeon being a place where this usability might be more useful. For me, that means taking the movement speed reduction off Hide.
Okay.
Because
that would be cool.
In Deep Dungeon, being able to effectively scout floors without necessarily having to.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Because the term DD for me normally means damage dealer, because I played 11 and it's a familiar term to me there, but that's not the case here. It's just not a term that's really used. So that's the only thing. I mean, to be fair, Hide slowing you down feels like shit. It's never been a good feeling thing on Ninja, and you almost never get to use the skill anyway, and the few times you do, it's when you don't... It never felt good, no matter what. To be fair, Hide sucks outside of resetting. Like, if they didn't make Hide reset shit, like, now it's like, it's great because you can use it, like, before the fight starts to not have to do a 20-second countdown. But even still, you still kind of do one because you want to be prepped properly. Everyone still has their stuff they have to do right before you do a pull.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it might not look like much, but it would be really helpful in Deep Dungeon. It would be really helpful in Eureka. So
I think at normal dungeons too. I mean, normal dungeons, it's kind of useful to be able to just open up with a trick attack, not necessarily.
That's true. Yeah,
when things die as fast as they do in dungeons, instead of using.
Yeah, it's not super.
It would make it so you could basically more effectively use trick attack, even in AOE pulls, at least on something, because you're never gonna waste the Suiton in a big AOE pull on Ninja. So having a trick attack on something is better than not having it. I originally saw usability. I thought Trick Attack was getting its positional requirement removed on the vulnerability, which I'm actually still surprised they haven't done. Because a good ninja never misses it anyway. You know what I mean? So when I think of like the heavy thrust changes for Dragoon,
a good ninja with a good tank never misses it.
In Pugs,
I've heard the complaint.
In Pugs, you miss it. In Pugs, you miss it.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
In Pugs, it's reasonable to miss it when tanks just turn the shit all over the place. But in content where it's structured and you're familiar with what's going on in the fight, it doesn't happen. A skilled ninja doesn't miss it there. So that change is something I feel like is kind of long overdue for Ninja. I don't want Ninja to get any more fucking shit, trust me. But that in particular, it would just be in line with stuff they've done with other jobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Black Mage is getting their teleports, both Ethereal Manipulation and Between the Lines, sped up, just like the speed for Plunge is being made faster.
Now, you see, this is cool, but
they've done this before.
It's not part of your rotation. Is it clipping? Like, what's the reason here?
So the main thing is Yoshida. He's a career Black Mage. So when he says this, I'm assuming it's because he personally doesn't want to deal with it. He says that he wants to discourage slide casting more and just straight up going from point A to B. Instead of feeling like you have to slide cast to get someplace, he wants you to feel like manipulation and Between the Lines are responsive enough to get you from A to B without having to do that.
But wouldn't that, okay, I get that, but wouldn't that be more like lowering cooldown?
Theoretically, but I guess the responsiveness of it is important. When I look at World of Warcraft, for example, a blink or a teleport in that game is instant. You're there.
Yeah.
There's no question that you did it too late, too early, whatever. You're at the location you intend to be. With Ethereal Manipulation, it's kind of like one of those skills in the game where, while yes, you travel very fast from A to B, there's like this little wind up at the start, and you kind of, there's almost like this brief
slide.
Yeah. So I feel like making it feel less like a slide and more like going from A to B instantly is probably the goal.
Well, I guess I mean, I don't really play Black Mage, but it seems to be the Ethereal Manipulation. Like, it's basically, it gets you to the point at about the same speed as a Spine Shatter Dive. I don't think it's like Plunge, is it? Like, I don't think it's a slower one, is it?
No,
like, it's
so
already pretty
specifically
quick.
Ethereal Manipulation, the very start of it is slow for like maybe
the wind up. Right.
Yeah.
So I just want to cut that down.
Yeah, and then
I get that. That makes sense.
And then I guess towards the very end, you kind of slow down once you've almost reached the location. I think Ethereal Manipulation should put you on the other side of whoever you're teleporting to personally. Because if somebody's just
like fixed position,
should put you on the far side. Yeah.
I've always felt that way because I've seen Black Mages manipulate to somebody who's like right on the edge of an AoE, and they still have to move a step because the person they're just there. I always felt like it should, but then that can come up. What if that's too far? No matter what, I guess you're kind of always hitting a problem there. So, whatever it is, usability. That's the goal. Speed it up, make it faster. Speaking of usability, Scholar, pets. Usability. Just for Scholar, though. Not for Summoner.
Just for Scholar.
That means it has to be a Scholar exclusive skill like Fey Union.
Yeah. That makes me think that it's not really doing much for pet quality of life usability.
No. What I think it is the Fey Union tether just instantly appears without the sort of how like there's an animation for the tether to kind of appear. I think they just make it instantly appear or something.
Okay.
It's got to be something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Not a Scholar. Now, the Astro changes healers have been talking about a lot. These are all very substantial. So, Malefic and I guess both Malefic and Gravity, because they're the only two offensive skills they have with a cast time, I believe. Their cast times are being reduced to shorter than the global cooldown. Previously, if you wanted to do an off global cooldown, you pretty much had to use Combust, which is your dot. You never really had the option while DPSing. You always had to clip a GCD to use an off GCD. Now it theoretically shouldn't be the case, or at least should be far less severe of a case. So big quality of life there for speeding up. It also makes that your damage based on your GCD position goes out a little faster. So
I feel like some white mages are going to be a little bit salty about this.
I feel like they will be as well.
And I feel like that's fair. Like, that's justified. That's reasonable.
I feel like it kind of is, but I also feel like Astro, I don't know. I feel like it's a nice little thing to, I guess, give Astro.
It'll feel good for Astros.
I feel like it also gives Astro a little bit more identity. Lightspeed we'll talk about in a second, but they've always been kind of, their cast time and the speed of which they produce, spells and cards and everything's kind of been a thematic thing. This kind of makes, for me, Astro's, at least the DPS side, stand out a little bit more as something that's a slightly different experience.
I would still be happy with White Mage. As a White Mage, I'd still be happy.
I have a lot of fun playing White Mage personally, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it sounds good on paper, but as a White Mage, I'd still be content. It wouldn't cause me to maybe change a main or something.
Well,
and chat brings this up. White Mage isn't a job that's all about off global cooldown, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
whereas whereas dealing with cards in between your global cooldowns is something that's of great value to an Astro and kind of increases the smoothness of the job.
Well, I do know one White Mage in particular that I'm expecting to be pretty salty.
The bigger change is the light speed. So of Astros that I've spoken to, they said one of the only major drawbacks is that they still are kind of MP crazy. If not starved so much as their MP is a little bit tighter on the use. They don't have a thin air and they don't have some of the luxuries that Scholar has. So Lightspeed's having its MP reduction doubled. It's going to reduce your MP by 50% instead of by 25%. But the bigger change is that it, according to the unofficial translation, it will also no longer reduce the damage you deal while under Lightspeed. And that is of much greater importance.
Yeah.
So from what Astros have told me, the reason that this is big is currently you might use Lightspeed for a couple of healing GCDs, not need healing anymore, and then have to click it off. Because you want to go back to DPSing. You don't no longer have to do that. You can actually make use of Lightspeed for its entire duration.
But doesn't that mean that most Astros are like only going to use Lightspeed for DPSing now?
Dude, Lightspeed Gravity was the first thing I thought of. Yeah. In Dungeons. It was literally the first thing that hit my mind.
That's literally all Lightspeed's going to be used for. I mean, this is going to amount to like a pretty significant DPS buff for Astro.
I'd imagine that too. And again, another enmity, because you're not literally just going to be using it for a couple spells. You'll, no matter what, every time you press Lightspeed, you will use it for every spell you cast.
Yeah.
Throughout all of Lightspeed. So your healing and DPS efficiencies both go up with this cooldown. Your MP efficiency goes up. And on top of that, Aspect of Helios is being buffed too. So it pretty much across the board, this Lightspeed change is pretty substantial.
Well, it should shake up the meta a little bit, I think.
I think I have to redo my healer versus and throw Astro up there now, because that's crazy.
That's pretty wild.
And on top of that, don't forget you can extend Lightspeed's duration with whatever the AoE skill that increases all your stuff by 5 seconds is.
So we really don't think this is taking anything away from White Mage.
I don't think it necessarily takes things away, but I think it exacerbates that lilies are dumb.
But we've known that for how long?
We've known that, but it never really matters because White Mage still is you throw up 1 cure 3 and everyone's at full HP, and then you're white. And
it's a pretty strong healer. Yeah, so
they're like, oh, thin air. You mean that skill that makes me just a god for 10 seconds? Yeah. No, Lightspeed's like, oh, sorry, god for 20. I think it really starts to exacerbate that White Mage really has nothing unique about it. It's still a very potent and strong healer, but they don't have cool things like this. They don't have.
That's what I'm saying. The only cool thing they had was that they could do a shitload of DPS, and now Astro probably going to be doing just
and thin air plus cure 3. That was a pretty big one.
But how often are you actually using that?
I don't know. 08 chat brings up 08 Savage. It's one place at least.
Yeah, when you sort of panicking in 08 Savage, and it's like,
you just do it. You just do it for Forsakens or for Heartless Archangels or Heartless Angels.
No, I guess that's fair. I guess I just feel like a lot of White Mages that I know take pride in the fact that they're sort of the king of the healer DPS, and now Astro's just going to be like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. I mean, I still think people will be pretty happy with actually playing White Mages, but a skilled Astro is going to shine a lot more now. The Lightspeed changes are major. I don't think anyone will underplay that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be taking it into at least Eureka because I bring White Mage into Eureka now. I'm going to Lightspeed the hell out of Eureka now.
Well, I'm going to be leveling Astro to 70 now.
There you go. Astro are going to look at every DPS and say, this is my balance now. Lightspeed is my balance.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Overall, though, some pretty great changes. We still need to answer some questions here about Dark Knight and the enmity stuff, but overall, I don't think they were changes anyone necessarily hated, unless you were a white mage and were jelly of the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, solid.
Doubt.
Solid. No, he's right. There are going to be white mages that are not pleased seeing Lightspeed given that much attention.
Yeah, sure.
Let's be real here. White mage probably still going to out DPS them, but they're just not going to look as cool. You know? They're just not.
Cares?
And
DPS.
they don't bring the balance. And Astro does. So shut up. In a nutshell, right? Next on the list was oddly one of the most exciting things for me, the Namazu Beast Traps. There's only one reason.
Why is this on? Why is this on?
Okay, so let's go. First of all, third Aetheryte in the Ozim Step. Totally didn't need it, but it's cool to have a third Aetheryte there.
Yeah, nice to have.
Meanwhile, Korthus Central is still a shithole.
I was honestly really surprised that this was on the Azim Step. I thought it was going to be they were going to build up around the manor where all the Namazu are in Yanksha now.
Yeah, same.
I guess they're probably the kind. I guess with Azim Steps, what's the word I'm looking for? It's location. You know what word I was looking for. Its location compared to Yenja. It's not that far from Yenja. I almost look at it at like the way they separated.
Yeah, it's pretty close by.
The way that they would separate like the Amalja back in the day with their Beast Tribe location versus their I guess the more hostile Namazu that are out there. That's how I look at it.
I love the Azim Step. I prefer it as a zone to Yanksha. I'll be happy to like be doing dailies there. What I don't understand is, well, I guess I'm wondering how long it's going to be until like the Dethal or someone rolls up and is like, why are these little fish people on our step? Get the fuck out of here.
Why are these little...
Because, I mean, there's been like, in the last like canonical sort of 12 months, there's been like 3 or 4 Zayla tribes on the Azim Steppe that have been wiped off the map by rival tribes. So how long are a bunch of freaking Namazu gonna last?
They're up on the cliffs, man. They're way up there.
Even still,
they're way out of the way on those cliffs, man.
I really hope that that's like a point of contention is like the tribes learning about the Namazu and being like, excuse me.
Well, I mean, we already know they are going to be dealing directly with the now dominant tribe ever since the what's it called? The Nadam. Ever since the Nadam, you know.
So the Mole won the Nadam, and we haven't really seen like any change to the step. They're like, oh no, the Kistiri, you guys can still hang up on the throne. That's fine, whatever. Just like let us do our own thing. So you reckon the Mole are going to be taking like a more active role now?
Mole are going to not only take a more active role, they're going to, you know, and the Namazu will probably be recognized amongst the tribes in some way that protects them.
So you think the Namazu are going to be like under the protection of the Mole?
At least for given under a condition. You know, the Namazu are greedy by nature. This is not something that comes easy, no matter what. This is like what was the comparison I was going to make? There's another comparison that I had that I just totally lost. Something of greed, something involving greed, another race involving greed for some reason.
Or another tribe.
What's another race? What's another like
Kikern, maybe?
Kikern,
the Goblins, kind of.
The Goblins, kind of, yeah. I mean, it's basically they're operating. There needs to be an agreement here. There needs to be an agreement here.
Cobalt, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And actually, looking at the screenshots, it looks like they're basically like they're pretty close to where the Mole are.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of like a joint like Namazu Mole venture, kind of like how we saw the like the Ananta was more like an Ananta and resistance venture, right? It wasn't
and I feel like the Kojin very much played that because they were trying to establish trade routes. It felt very much like they were interacting.
The Kojin was working very closely with the East Aldenard Trading Company. Okay, so all right, so it's going to be something similar to that. That makes a lot more sense.
And I feel like this also sets up for what would probably be the eventual collaboration between the 3 beast tribes. I think we all are expecting it in a coming patch. yeah, with the Namazu now having a more, I imagine more set trading foothold inside the Ozim Steppe. I mean, the Kojin have to have some degree of interest in that.
But again, the rough gist of it is that they're just wanting to host a festival. So I don't see a lot of
with mounts like this, they're allowed to hold festivals as far as I'm concerned. The main reason I think everyone's talking about the Namazu, a beast tribe that's crafting and gathering related, not necessarily something that is of major interest to the vast majority of people, is because that's the mount on the screen right now. That mount has easily eclipsed every mount that has ever come from any content of import. I don't give a fuck about your 08 Savage mount. I don't give a fuck about your fucking Gobwalker from A4. I don't give a fuck about any mount. They could put a mount in Ultimate right now. I wouldn't give a fuck. That thing is the winner.
They're not flying. They're just like hanging on and trying not to.
They're just dangling.
The one in the back is dead.
Just about, yeah.
If you look when you're on the ground, I mean, his eyes are just like pure white. But even on the ground, he's only lifting it with one hand, and he's also only holding it with one hand.
Like, do you think that hand's just like nailed to it? And it's just
honestly, I think he's just a limp body. I think he's just dead.
You think when you move, he's just like dragging along? Like...
Yeah, I mean, he moves his feet clearly, but as far as I'm concerned, he's just like propped up.
It's very good. I'm really excited to see them like panicking while I'm sort of flying.
I do agree. It is kind of weird that you just kind of hang on the side of it. It's not like a throne. It's more of like it's more
shrine.
Yeah, it's a shrine that you're just kind of hanging along the side of. But when I first saw it, I thought this could actually fit 4 people on it, realistically. But they made no mention of it being a multi-person mount.
Yeah. It's very good. It's very, very good.
Don't worry, a different version will pop up in the Mog Station that'll hold 4 people. Don't worry. Everyone's like, shit, he's right. Shit, he's right.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to doing the Namazu. There's a lot of crafting and gathering stuff to do this patch, and this will be my excuse to level crafters and gatherers.
I really like that this is gatherers as well as crafters, because the previous ones have been crafting only. Yeah, and this should, it should be better. Hopefully, even though I've already got all my gatherers at 70.
Yeah, but I mean, when I think of repeating quests daily, I'd rather gather for a few quests than craft for a few quests personally. Like once they're all 70, kind of thing. Personally.
Yeah, once they're all 70, yeah, totally. Yes.
I'm wondering if it'll be like the Mughals, where they'll have a currency like the Kupo nuts, which were incredibly valuable. The items you were able to get with those, it was a fiber back in the day.
Yeah,
people sold those for lots of money.
Went, back in the day, like at the start. Yeah.
I once I found out about it, even after their prime, like they still sold for like 60, 70k on Gilgamesh. So I just kept doing it every day leading up to glass fibers. There you go. Leading up to 4.0, I did it like every day. I just sold glass fibers, just a little extra money. So I wonder if there'll be an item like that from the Namazu as well.
No,
maybe bells. Just give us bells. I know lore-wise it doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying, just give us bells. That's it. All right. Next on the list were housing updates. I don't need to talk too much about... Oh, by the way, that mount has its own BGM, which sounds great. Housing updates, they're adding a guest book. You can sign it, like other people's comments. It's a nice little role-playing thing, but I don't think there's much for us to discuss there. People are just going to leave comments on my house that say, you're fucking shit and garbage and go die, and they're going to get like 1 million likes anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
So...
Yeah.
And if you're alone and you're lonely and nobody likes you, you can sign it yourself. And use it as like a public diary. Day one.
I want them to add a feature where they can just like straight up graffiti your house. People just come along and just paint penises on the sides of your house.
Yeah, I'm sure. Listen, you remember I share a server with Fold. That is the last thing I want. He's already ruined my Twitter feed. I really don't need...
Oh my god, Fold's fucking Twitter at the moment.
I really don't need
that Thanos one the other day.
That's like, what I'm referring. He ruined Sundays for me.
Are you serious? Dude?
He ruined Sundays for me, man.
I laughed.
It was like 6 a.m. for me, and I saw it.
You're like, whoa.
Shit, you know the worst thing about that? We just told everyone to go check his Twitter feed this last Sunday.
Yeah, guys, anyone who's not following, it's at Faultless.
Then don't, please.
No, dude, please
No,
don't.
really don't. Really don't.
Right.
When they were showing off the guest book,
Source Rex.
don't do it. And when they were showing off the guild book, they did also show off some new housing areas, some new housing items, picnic baskets, a kitchen stove, a little I guess that's an Aurat tribe house lamp, is what it is. They also showed a bento box with a Moogle and Namazu rice cake, I'd assume, of some kind.
Which is the creepiest thing I've ever
Yeah, they
fucking
just look
seen.
like straight up heads. They don't really look like rice anything. So
Right.
it's a little creepy. But yeah. Then they showed off the guest book, and there was not really a whole lot more to say about guest books, other than you can't really leave more than one message a day. Whatever. As
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. Next was Ultima Weapon Ultimate. So we got our answers a little bit more about the fight. It is indeed Garuda, Ifrit, and Titan. We got to see them in the trailer. And
What were you expecting?
Ultima Weapon as well. So one of the more exciting things for me, they announced that the background music for the fights, the Garuda, Ifrit, and Titan parts at the very least, will be the primal rendition of the themes instead of what are the current in-game ones.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
That's
fantastic.
pretty fucking awesome. And we know that the first boss is indeed Garuda. It's not Gaius.
Burn tits.
It's not Gaius. It's Garuda.
Burn tits.
I'm looking at you, Ethys. I'm just saying.
Are you still thinking
You're gonna make
Gaius
us
is a
fight
poss-
Gaius first? That would be so unfair.
You gotta fight him last.
phase? No one can get through Gaius first phase. No way. Last phase.
Do you still think he's a possibility within the fight itself?
I mean, I think he's gonna be there. I don't know if we're going to fight him directly. He's going to be part of a phase transition. He's going to appear and be like, thank you for beating the primals, you fucking idiot. Watch me absorb them.
All right. I'll take it. You fucking idiot.
It's basically what he does.
Yeah,
after
pretty
we
much.
defeat Garuda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. He does indeed. He just rolls down and says, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
We don't really get to see much of the Garuda itself. We see that what looks to be like, I guess, a multi-target first mechanic. You see like what looks to be a stack marker as well as the tank buster that stuns that is avoidable on all the other difficulties, but we don't know that for certain here because Yoshida decides that he wants to run around a little bit before he dies. So.
Yeah.
All we see is like a 67k tank buster that also stuns, and then there's a split damage AoE that we don't really ever get to see do anything. 67k is not really enough for me to think that it's a shared tank buster, because then it, when you wouldn't need cooldowns for it, it's kind of unsubstantial unless the stun plays an important role. So it's probably just going to be like, Twister plus Fireball where someone's marked and then the tanks get something and then there's something else going on. Whatever not. So, yeah, that's... Yeah, it's whatever it is. We don't really get a whole lot about it. But, yeah, that's it. Just expect to die a lot. Touching the wall instantly kills you. So, have fun. Have fun. I'm still thinking a week 1 clear for this. It was 10 or 11 days for Coil. This is a shorter fight. And I think people are maybe have a little bit more, I guess...
They know what to expect.
Accurate expectations.
Right. Yeah,
so I'm still
yeah.
thinking a week one clear. That could be as late as 6 days. So.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
They also didn't show us the weapons. Still don't know what the weapons look like. We know it's weapons. We just don't know what the weapons look like.
Shit.
That's not fair. You don't know that. Is it shit? Is it shit because you won't have them right away, or are they shit because they look like shit?
More than
I tell you that I really hope they're just like gold Titan weapons.
Yeah, giant turd axe.
Hell yeah.
I think it's gonna be a mix. Like there's gonna be like one from one primal, one from the other. Because Ultima doesn't have weapons, and I don't think they designed new weapons for it. I just don't think they do it.
Yeah, what would they look like? They just look like sort of generic Allegan stuff if they did.
Yeah, like I don't know. Unless they take like second coil weapons this time or like first coil weapons, but that'd be kind of weird. I think it'd be weird.
It would be kind of weird.
Next up is Heaven on High, which Yoshida likes the English title more than Amino Miyashiro. He's like, man, English version sounds so much cooler. Damn it. I hate this language.
Okay.
So I think what we can at least say is this is most definitely a deep dungeon, because up to the I guess the third or fourth slide, it literally is verbatim Palace of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about that? Were you expecting more substantial changes to it to differentiate it from Palace of the Dead? Obviously, we have a few things here, but at its core, did you expect overarching changes to not just make it feel like Palace of the Dead? While you say that, I'm gonna change out my earbud battery because I haven't charged it all day. So
I was expecting more like variety in terms of, I guess, internal like layout and stuff like that. And it seems, I mean, it looks more interesting, right?
Aesthetically,
yeah. That was the main thing that bothered me, honestly, about Deep Dungeon, was that like aesthetically it just got really, really repetitive, and all the layouts were more or less the same. I wanted a little bit more variety, like different types of rooms and stuff like that. And it seems like it's got a bit of that going on.
You'll probably get that repetitiveness like once you get to the, I guess, higher floors.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more than you will at first.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, I think it's basically what I expected. Are the changes substantial? They're substantial enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think they needed to go really crazy for Heaven on High, which it kind of seems like in a way they did.
Well, it sounds like it was successful, you know? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think the big thing to take away from this is that when Palace of the Dead first released, it was one of those things that was kind of in the testing grounds, like Diadem, like Lords of Verminion. And it was one of those pieces of content that kind of needed to prove itself. Once it did, it was something that, in all honesty, they could make one of those like, okay, we could replicate this and make change and then make some changes to it, but we don't need to reinvent the wheel here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they've done.
Exactly. Right. And the idea is that when they can identify something as successful, repeat it, and then reduce the amount of development time between the time they did it the first time and the time they do it the second time, what ultimately happens is it becomes something that's just considered regular, like our patch cycle normally is, and there's more time for other things. I think at this point the proven concept for Stormblood is ultimate. I think that's the thing they take away from this. They get kind of a little bit more used to developing it, and then something else happens on top of that. Is it successful? We don't know, but that's what I think Heaven on High has landed on, and why it being similar to Palace of the Dead is. I didn't expect it to be different. I expected it to have some differences, but not to be like massively different. I suppose.
No, I'm stoked with it. I'm also stoked that we did actually get some internal screenshots, because we're still wondering like what the hell that thing is and like who made it and where it came from. Whether or not it's Allegan, and it's definitely not Allegan. We can say that like quite confidently now. It's not Allegan. We know that we see auspices in there, which is really interesting, which makes me think that it's got some connection to Tenzin, and that it's probably of whatever, I guess, ancient Orthadian culture Tenzin was a part of, whatever was I guess like
some sort of legend, like he achieved becoming the warrior of light by climbing to the top of Heaven on High or something like that,
maybe,
or
maybe something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but I mean, the inside looks beautiful compared to Palace of the Dead, which was just generic caves and shit. To like,
I was just saying that it's like that was my main complaint about Palace of the Dead, was like internally, like the layout and the aesthetics, like everything was very sort of samey.
Yeah.
And this looks great. Like even if there's not like a huge variety of the I guess the types of rooms and like the layouts of the levels, it's still it's very sort of bright and pleasing. And
they're even like the windows leading outside and everything. There's
that I was
light.
surprised. You can kind of see windows on the outside of Heaven on High, but they don't really look like windows on the outside because you can't really see into Heaven on High from them. So
yeah, it's a little bit strange.
Maybe it's an alternate dimension.
It's gonna be some like ethereal TARDIS bullshit, isn't it?
I was about to say TARDIS too.
Yeah, it's
so
gonna be like another Alexander sort of thing.
So recap, it's 100 floors. The first 30 floors will be used for the scenario that's happening in there. And by the way, scenario looks like it's going to be including the leader of the Confederacy, which makes sense considering Heaven on High's location. When we looked at the trailer, the leader of the Confederacy is there. Looks like he's in there with us. There's going to be cutscenes in there to establish a little bit more about what Heaven on High is. And then after that, 31 on is like 101 plus, except you only need to climb 30 floors to get to the hardcore stuff instead of 100 floors or 50 floors, depending.
Because the thing is, like, those 100 floors that you had to go through, or the 50 floors that you had to go through for Palace of the Dead, it's the same shit, like over and over and over.
Yeah, bit redundant.
Doesn't need to be that much of it. Like, you're running it multiple times anyway. It doesn't need to be that much of it.
Exactly. And with that, and with Heaven on High, they look to let people get into the more intense 4-man challenges. Biggest complaint about 101 Plus, other than it being fixed party exclusive, was that it just took forever to not only get there, but to then get through it. And then if you wiped, it was just a whole ordeal of doing everything over again.
Yeah.
So more accessibility here while still keeping the integrity of what Heaven on High's higher floors should actually feel like. They also have Commanders. They're back again. Ethereal armor, ethereal weapon still there. Again, we know we'll be able to take those weapons outside of Heaven on High. And one thing they're doing that's kind of interesting is they're changing the way that you actually go about obtaining the weapon. Instead of using a bulk amount of levels, you can instead use your levels in increments of 10 to buy a token. And then when you have the requisite number of tokens, you can get the weapon. So instead of going right from 30, like, you know, you when Palace of the Dead first came out, you go right from being plus 30 to being 0 and then have to do it again. With the way the new system is, you could go from 30 to 20, then go up to 30, then go back down to 20, and still have kind of that power for repeated farming without having to give it all up just to pick up a weapon. So how do we think that's a good change? Because they're also doing it to Palace of the Dead. They're retroactively fitting it to Palace of the Dead.
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, that's a good thing.
All right. So moving on to the next thing, we got a little bit more information. There's new commanders. They got rid of all the transformative ones: the succubus, the manticore, and the thing that shot the holy whatever. That yeah, I don't even remember. It's been so long. Thing you use in the later floors to kill the ads in one shot, pretty much. They're getting rid of those, and they're replacing it with 3 new commanders: Commander of Incapacity to use enervation. Basically, all enemies on the floor get enervated. Commander of Concealment to make you invisible to enemies and traps. And Commander of Petrification, which petrifies all enemies on the floor and also renders them killable in a single hit while they're petrified. So ultimately, Incapacity weakens enemies like the succubus. Concealment, I don't know. Concealment's completely different. And Petrification's like a room-wide, like a fucking floor-wide manticore. This shit, when I look at this, I think of these as solos. Like when I think of people who solo deep dungeons, these really go. I mean, even the concealment one. Obviously, there's still the issue of needing to clear enough enemies to get out of the floor before using it. But being able to just invis and stand on the exit is a pretty substantial change over having to clear out a room of 18 enemies on some of the later floors when you're already strapped for time.
Right.
So I'm a pretty big fan of these 3 commanders because I want to see people solo 1 to 100 more often than the 2 people we've had do the Necromancer so far.
I mean, I'm a fan of these as well, but I kind of miss the aesthetics of actually turning into something and like going Manicore and just fucking wiping. One punch Manicore, yeah.
I'm going Manicore on these fools.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I just miss the aesthetics of that. It just looked awesome. It felt awesome when you were
there's probably going to be some really cool, like, animation or effect associated with these as well.
The same, though.
And I mean, well, we'll trade it off for the other thing that we get in Heaven on High, which is new.
Yeah.
Yes. The other thing that we're getting is what effectively act like 3 more Pommanders, but they're called Magicites instead. You can get an Ifrit, Garuda, or Titan Magicite, and when you use it, it kills every enemy on the whole floor.
Now, what the fuck are they doing in there?
I don't know. Why are there Magicites in there? You know what I think it is? I think they looked at Ultima Weapon and said, well, we're using these models anyway. We might as well.
Okay, so having Magicites in there, like, that's fine. It's this tower, you've kept all these, these secrets and these treasures and these artifacts, locked away. That's fine. But if Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan specifically, I think it must be a case of there's like fire aspected, wind aspected, and earth aspected Magicite, and that like because we have had our confrontations with those 3 primals, it's kind of like with like Summoner, it does like an eggy sort of thing. But
so you're speaking on the lore side of things, right? Okay.
The only thing that matters here is that
there's got to be some sort of explanation, like lore wise, for how the hell these 3 would be showing up in Ulthard, right? I think it's got to be something like that. But at the same time, it's like, again, why are we like deliberately taking these things and be like, oh, I can summon a primal with this? That seems like a good idea for the Warrior of Light to do.
And how does it only summon just the primal, kills everything, and then leaves? Like, obviously you're commanding it to use all the ether it used to summon itself, and then to return to the planet. So it doesn't actually like eat ether like primals normally would. But how do the Magicites let you access that? Like, how does the primal just go, no, yeah, I'm good with that?
The Echo, obviously.
Oh, okay. You got a point.
Yeah.
The Echo is like the answer for most things.
Yeah, most things.
Y'all are putting way too much thought into this.
Dude, yeah, Gaia says the Magicites in there, clearly.
We asked for this. Asked for this. I don't care.
But
I don't care how we get it and why. We just asked for it and we got it.
All right. I care how we get it. It's important that it isn't law breaking, and we know that there is always an explanation to these things.
And there will be.
Make sure, just give me the explanation. Don't make me have to work it out myself, because that's annoying.
Listen, here's the thing: if there is no explanation, it's not long for someone to ask Koji.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I'll literally like
that's fair. That's a fair.
Like, I will immediately start drafting an email. Koji, what the fuck?
There you go. Okay, push the red button and you're good to go. On top of that, like you said, there will be auspices in there: Komeinu, Inugami, and of course a fan favorite, Senri.
Thick cat.
Yep. And apparently, as long as you hang out near them, they provide buffs. Komeinu will increase your damage dealt. Inugami will reduce the damage you take, and Senri will heal you over time. So that's the big thing with this. It's like, it's still Palace of the Dead. Essentially, at its core, it's still Palace of the Dead. But they have the Magicites, they have the new Pommanders, they have these new things in place. I guess to give you... So when I think of what I expected for this dungeon, I asked in an interview about what the next deep dungeon would vary from the previous one. And they said it would allow for different play styles. When I see things like invisibility to skip enemies, when I see things like this, I think this matches that comment accurately.
Yes. Yeah, like you say, it's a lot more approachable for people to solo it, and I think that is also like, a playstyle difference, right?
Yeah. And I'm just curious how overall the community will ultimately react to it being a new Palace of the Dead. Yes, it's another 61 to 70 leveling tool. Great. It's not that hard right now, but great. It's a roll-free option.
But we never expected it to be anything other than what it is. And anyone that did expect it to be was, I don't know where they got those ideas from, because they were telling us the whole time, it's literally the next deep dungeon. It's the same thing in a different location, different installment. Like, it's the same type of content. They've made that very, very clear. So you shouldn't have been expecting anything. I mean, you shouldn't even been expecting it to be as different as it is, honestly.
Speaking of different, one of my, I guess, a more subtle change, it's not really subtle, but you'd expect this, wouldn't really make a major change. The giant ass rooms are kind of a welcome change. Instead of having
nice, isn't it?
Like, I immediately saw that room and said, there are probably traps everywhere. And you have no idea where. You know how normally when you're going through, you kind of hug the wall because it minimizes
right
where your traps.
I didn't know if the rooms are that. Oh, there's a couple of giant ones. Yeah. No, I'm seeing. Looking at the screenshots, it looks like most of the rooms are about the same size. It's like they just look.
Though the smaller rooms probably function exactly the same as the old one, but it's the new big ass rooms that have like treasure chests.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Visually speaking, and also if you watch the trailer, there's like a room where again you're fighting a giant ape with a window that like you can see outside with.
Yeah.
So again, visually speaking, much more appealing than when Palace of the Dead came out, it felt like they just took like Copperbell Mines, like the latter half of Copperbell Mines, and copy pasted it a bunch of times. Whereas this feels like, they probably did something similar with Kugane Castle. Kugane Castle's aesthetics are very similar to these, but ultimately it doesn't feel, I guess, as reused as Palace of the Dead did.
Well, it's definitely got assets from Shisui
and Kugane Castle, I feel.
And Kugane Castle, yeah. But like you say, it doesn't look as sort of bland and samey.
Yeah. I hope the music changes every 3 floors still.
Yeah, me too.
And I want to hear some like Susano and Byakuya music popping up in there, personally. I'm just saying. And I also want to hear any, because obviously, I mean, they had original themes for Palace of the Dead with the final boss of the scenario there, and Edda obviously had her theme. So I'm hoping to hear at least one original theme coming out of at least this iteration of Heaven on High. I guess that's my last question. Do you think this is the only iteration of Heaven on High? Because it goes right from 1 to 30 to then 31 to 100. How do you really incorporate a second Heaven on High when you've already kind of done what was Palace of the Dead's endgame, I suppose?
You don't.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, I kind of suspect that this will probably be the only iteration, and it's like, well, we're just going to get it right the first time. But that's it. You look at that tower, like that's more than 100 floors.
And the other thing is, with the previous Deep Dungeon, they did one in an even-numbered patch right after, and it had, I guess it had another item level update for people who weren't currently working on Savage. This is going to be close to the end of a patch cycle, so we can expect an item level similar to what Palace of the Dead gave, I'd imagine, in comparison to what the patch is currently offering.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a big question of what comes next, and if no more Heaven on High comes next, then what else is in 4.4, 4.5, and whatever else may follow that isn't just something that we've already seen before?
Yeah, other than more Eureka.
Exactly.
So you're saying something similar to pretty much Deep Dungeon or Heaven on High, because we probably won't be getting that until 5.0.
Mike.
What?
Get out.
What?
It's gonna be Blitzball.
I will kill you.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Does it?
Doesn't it?
Not open this
What else is it going to be? Name me one thing that it could be other than Blitzball.
Well, if it doesn't exist,
a new
I can't
RTS.
Lords of Dominion 2.
Yeah.
Chocobo race, flying Chocobo races.
The toy chest with the games.
Toy chest with Final Fantasy 1 through 6 on it.
Nah.
Yeah.
Shoe puff racing.
Hey, let's go.
You are way too excited about that, Slyh.
I am.
It's
Love the
not
fucking shoe puffs. They're awesome.
I'll kill you.
Chat agrees with me.
Chat only agrees with you because they really want me to be upset about it.
Toy chest with Blitzball.
It's the only reason. Oh, 2.45 Blitzball. Man, I'm glad we got that patch fucking 4 years ago then. Don't gotta worry about that shit. All right. Anyway. They're updating performance, adding some new instruments, making some changes to it. They're working on a steel guitar for the perform feature, which I thought was pretty cool. That's going to be metal as fuck. I'm just saying. And I can't go without saying they're adding a colorblind mode finally.
Finally.
You want to know what's really weird about that? Oh, no. They did an incredible job with it. You want to know what's funny about that? I don't think they need it anymore. Not nearly as much as they would have years ago. because it feels like they've designed the game around the fact that there's colorblind people playing it. So unless they plan on immediately fucking with me if I don't decide to use this, there's not really many scenarios where I find that I need a colorblind mode anymore. They've done a very good job of separating.
Stormblood's like it's a lot more high contrast than the previous expansions. But I'm looking at the colorblind mode, and yeah, like I can definitely see how that's going to be really helpful.
Dude, they literally got sent to the Shadow Realm with that last one.
Yeah,
Legit, like just that's not. I don't think I could put my stream through looking at the game like that. It's like I'll be like, yeah, no, it's perfectly normal. Yeah, guys, I can see everything great. It's perfectly normal, right? And meanwhile, the fucking sky is green. That shit's ridiculous. But I'm glad to see them finally doing it, because it is an accessibility thing. A lot of people do struggle with it, and don't have the same, I guess, recognition of skill versus of the skills in the game versus the environments that they've been making better, but can always be better. And I think a colorblind mode is an essential in this day and age, especially for lower level shit. Like, have you done Shiva? I still can't see anything happening in that fight. Why the fuck are her AoEs the same color?
Even if you're not colorblind, it's like...
Yeah, now imagine how it is for me.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, safe zones are... Never mind, I'm just going to take this. Goodbye, Slyh.
Goodbye, Slyh. Goodbye forever.
Goodbye. He pointed at something. I don't know what it was.
And he was never seen again.
That's fine. He was never seen again. That's fine. Not what I meant to say, but I meant to say that's fine that he got up and needs to take care of something real quick. All right. Feast tournament. For all three regions. They're going to have winners for each data center. They're going to fly them out to the Fan Fest, pay for everything for them to go to the Fan Fest. And then they're going to make them fight for regional championships.
Wait, so what does that mean for Australians? So you guys gonna
pick a data center and get really good on it, because we're
treated like a subsidiary of the European community. Does that mean they're gonna fly us?
I'd have to imagine if you're a champion on a data center for a specific region, that's the Fan Fest you get flown out to.
Right, so then we get flown to the Japanese Fan Fest.
There you go.
And not be able to understand.
That's a trip to Japan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just still so salty that they don't recognize Oceania as a region. That's such bullshit.
One day, dude, picking a Fan Fest location for Oceania would be really tough.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be heaps easy. You just go Sydney.
So yeah, real easy for Australia.
Yeah, real easy for me. Yeah, I get a train. It'd be great.
Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't be inconvenient for anyone else playing in any of the other areas from Oceania, though.
That sounds like their problem.
Oh, well. Yeah, that was the last thing from part 1. Part 2, there's not really a whole lot we can say, because a lot of it is... I actually was pretty happy with the unofficial translations here for Matsuno describing his history with tactics and 12, and, he even brought... I was crazy excited to see it. He brought the initial draft for the pitch for tactics. Like, when they said, okay, we want to make a game, or want to call it Final Fantasy Tactics, and this is what we want to do. He brought the 1.0 draft. It says Square Co. at the bottom, not even Square Enix yet, because it was back in the 90s, and that was awesome to see stuff like that. I was really happy with Matsuno as a guest. And you could tell how passionate he was about what the work he was doing on 14, too. Because
sure. He was very enthusiastic.
He dropped a pretty big bomb. I don't know if you guys caught this. He said that the quality and volume of the Return to Evil East story content in the next patch will be equivalent to that of the main scenario. Which is not something we're used to really having.
I mean, the first Return to Evil East was like as long as the main scenario patch for that patch, right?
And he says this will be of greater volume than that.
Yeah, and it already looks like 4.3 is going to be like a pretty big, pretty intense patch. Well, I think this is really good, because what's happening in Return to Evil East that I feel like a lot of people still don't necessarily realize, has a massive impact on the main scenario and what is happening in the main scenario. Given that it's all the rest of Othard, all the other regions of Othard that are sort of rising up in rebellion against the Empire, and what we're seeing in Return to Iblis is like the fallout of that, the consequences of the way in which they're rebelling.
Which is mostly through the use of, as we've seen, the Zodiac, the stones that represent the Zodiac symbols, the aura sites.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think it's really important. I think it's really, really important that they do give this a lot, because we're probably not going to be exploring the other parts of Othard as a result of this.
Yeah, very similar to how we will never properly explore the city of Mach, or the area that surrounds Mach itself.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And so the fact, I mean, to be fair, this is way out in the ocean, on the edge of the Ridorana cataracts, where they don't even know what that waterfall goes down to. It's unexplored. It's unknown. Mm-hmm. Nobody has any idea. But as much as it's way out of the way like that, they're still doing a lot with it. Mm-hmm. Now, we have a few predictions to make here, because currently we have Famfrit, Belias, and something I didn't recognize, which is Construct 8, I believe it was, as the other boss. It's apparently a Final Fantasy Tactics boss.
Yeah, it's a Final Fantasy. I think he fought in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
And I think somebody mentioned he's not even like a story boss. He's like he's one of the missions you can accomplish on the side, is what I think somebody mentioned to me.
Okay.
I don't know the accuracy. I'm not a tactics expert. So, Construct 8, also known as Worker 8, is an optional character from Final Fantasy Tactics. It is robots from the days of Saint Ajora Globados that can be acquired as part of a side quest. Its birthday is June 20th.
Okay.
Coincidentally, the release date of Heavensward. Has no relevance to this at all. There you go. But and then the last boss is almost definitely Chaos. The whole reason why the Banga have come to the Prima Vista is because something has befallen Bagamnon, and he took the Chaos Stone, the Taurus Stone, from what's his face. I always forget the name of the father, Ramzan Alma's father. It's very Garland.
Oh no! Now I've completely forgotten his name as well.
Chat. I know.
Bus Lexentale. I can't remember his first name.
There you go. Chat, you'll get it. Vas Lexingtale, yeah. Gaius Van Belsar. Stop. No, not Gaius.
Gaius Van Balthier.
There you go.
Yeah, Arslan Durai is his real name.
Arslan Durai. Okay.
Yeah, that's his real name.
He's dad. Okay. That's as far as he's dad of Ramza, dad of boy.
Dad of boy.
He's dad of boy.
And that was taken, and the whole and the Banga have come to us to ask us to come to the Ridorana to effectively help. What I thought was interesting, there's a couple of character appearances that are just dropped in the trailer casually that they don't go back and talk about. Gabranth is in the fucking trailer. If you look at the scene where it's like one of the Lucavi, I guess it's whoever is possessing Famfrit, it almost looks like. Or whoever the initial body of Famfrit was. You see Gabranth standing next to what looks to be, I guess, a generic Garlean soldier and a Magitech bit. That's I don't know if that is Gabranth, but it's somebody wearing his fucking armor at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is. I'd say so.
Yeah, I don't know, but we don't know what his role is in Garlemald, I guess, is the main thing, because he's standing next to the three Banga as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I guess the other big prediction is at the end of the trailer, right before we see Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, and Ultima, a guy puts the generic gun sword. Like, there's tons of people who have that weapon.
It's not generic. It is a Garland officer's badge of office.
But it is a generic Garland. There's a lot of Garland officers we've seen with that weapon.
Oh yeah.
And it's not necessarily what's called. Heimsbane was the name of Gaius's weapon or something.
Not necessarily, but it's the same model.
Same model. The big thing to take away is there's two words voice acted. Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of talk about that right now. Or Airsbane.
Is it the same voice actor?
Yeah.
So it is not. So it does not sound like Gideon Emery. As a reminder, Gideon Emery was the voice actor for Balthier. He was also the voice actor for Odeon J back in A Realm Reborn. And he has not been the voice actor for Odion J in quite some time. But we don't actually... We can say it's Balthier. It's an easy thing, but does that mean that this has voice acted scenes then? Because he would have to be voice acted in Return to Ivalice. Because why the fuck would it be part of the main story?
He's not wearing Balthier's outfit.
He doesn't have the same hair either.
No, he doesn't have the same hair.
So,
and Balthier doesn't use a gunblade. Like, they could have just given him a pistol. There's plenty of pistol models in the game.
There are plenty of pistol models in the game. What some people, but of course, the common theme right now is that is Gaius, and that is his voice without his helmet on.
Hashtag Gaius lives.
That is the number one trending theory right now. We were also always suggesting, I've been suggesting this for a while now, that when Elidibus took his mask off, that he might have had Gaius's body.
Elidibus.
If it could very well be his body and not him. But who's saying "oh dear" there, I guess, is the real, because it sounds enough like Balthier. You know what I mean? To me, it sounds enough like Balthier. We have Begamnon, Gabronth. You know, it's so hard for me to say it definitively.
Maybe Gaius is playing the role of Balthier.
Oh, so he's the leading man.
Yeah, maybe since Gaius, I guess, left the Garland Empire and went out on his own, maybe he's become a pirate.
I don't think that's probable.
No, I don't think that's probable, but it's not outside the realm of possibility.
No, I mean, nothing is at this point.
Guys,
at this point, no.
You want to know what's a really weird part of the trailer? There's a part where Alphino's talking, and they show one of the Bonga talking at the same time. And it makes it look like the Bonga has Alphino's.
They do this in the trailers a lot, like deliberately misleading, where they'll cut like
misdirection.
But that one was like blatantly, like it was really weird.
Oh yeah, but they do this all the time, where they'll take like one shot from the main scenario quest, and then immediately after it, one shot from like the 24 man, and they're trying to confuse you.
I'm just saying,
job.
Whoever that voice is, even if it's not necessary, I don't even necessarily think it has Gaius's voice is the problem. Like, I refuse to accept that Gaius, the dude who is all about annexing fucking Aldenard for you know the security of the planet and this holy. I don't think he's just gonna be like, oh dear.
Like, yeah, it does. It is a little bit out of character. I'm not convinced that it's the same voice.
Even if it is Gaius necessarily in the thing and they're using a voice from a different scene,
yeah,
I guess maybe just separate the two and then try to judge the scene based off that.
I'm trying to think how Nero sounded with his mask.
It's not yeah. Oh, no. He sounded
just to compare.
Here's the thing. I don't remember when we ever heard Nero without his helmet because he doesn't talk in Omega.
In
3.5. Yeah. I don't. I remember hearing his voice and immediately recognizing it. They definitely had the same voice actor for both times, and I think with his helmet on, without his helmet on, I recognized it immediately. Yeah. Sorry, I've just been thinking of Omega recently with Nero. It's just that it's in such close proximity to Ultima at the very end also, and Gaius has a direct relation to Ultima that...
Look, I think we can say at the very least that whoever made the trailer is very, very much aware of the number of people that are obsessed with Gaius and with him still being around, and was like, Is
this where we find out Gaius actually has had the resonant the whole time? Or they took his body back and implanted the resonant into him.
Oh no!
He's starting to play that game, huh? But also talking about the 24 man, that's not the only thing. Ashelia and Rassler are also shown in what looks to be sort of like a history type flashback. And I don't know what I mean. I'm assuming they're going to tell the story of the origin of the Ritterana Lighthouse being where the Suncrist was kept, and how there's legend of a dynast king thousands 800 years ago or some shit that destroyed it with the treaty blade or some. When I saw that, I immediately felt more like the great crystal or Giruvegan. Like, I didn't even have to know anything else to feel like Giruvegan was going to be our next location. after this, because that's what you go from Gyruvegan to here, but I feel like it's going to go in reverse here based on a legend. Digging through a legend is digging through history backwards, pretty much. So going from Ridorana to Gyruvegan for me would make a lot of sense if there's something regarding the Lucavi residing there, the source of the aura site that's breeding the Lucavi. Okay. I don't know. There's a lot. Like, this was incredibly exciting to me as I was going through both what he was saying about developing it and the trailer itself.
Oh, totally.
So that's going to be a hell of a spoiler cast.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Oh man, yeah. I could talk about that all day. I don't know why he was obsessed with the Al Ra who brought over the Ultima Stone for some reason. He was just obsessed with it. Like, it's like, hey, this is the Al Ra that just holds the box in the trailer. Here's her exact character model because I want everyone to know. And I was like,
I heard some people speculating that she was a character from Tactics. They just like made into an Al Ra.
Who knows? But he just said there's a female Al Ra in the trailer that's pretty and cute.
Sure.
It was just, I was like, all right, Matsuno, you go. you go, man. The Al Ra, yeah, I don't know. It's just, that's it. I don't know. That was it. And yeah, the gear doesn't look anything all too impressive. There's Vaughn's gear from what looks to be Tactics Advanced 2 or Revenant Wings or something. There's all the other information of him, just talking about things,
Well, I like the gear. I think the gear's nice.
The gear is a little meh for me.
The thing is, it honors the originals because it's based on old Tactics gear.
Yeah,
it totally honors the originals. I think that Tactics gear wasn't about. It wasn't flashy. Tactics gear back. It wasn't meant to be flashy. So that's why it kind of comes off with leaving a lot to be desired. People with no attachment to it are going to be kind of bored with it. I feel if you didn't play Tactics, you don't recognize it specifically. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Matsuno also said, Yoshida, we need more quality of life improvements, please.
Ooh, savage.
Well, somebody asked, what do you want to tell Yoshi P? He's like, make Eureka better. I want to be able to see my party members. And then Foxconn was like, we just announced that that's going to be a thing. So he shook his hand. He shook Foxconn's hand. It's like, awesome. He's like, listen, I know you're feeling pressured, but I'm looking at this as a player's perspective. All right, so deal with it. So proud of you, Matsuno. Proud of you. And then we find out he got fired before he finished the third part of the return. He already finished the story. They don't need him anymore. So
Rip.
They announced the dates for the France Fan Fest in Paris. It's February 2nd and 3rd, so put that in calendars. That's a big leap after November. It's November 16th and 17th. I don't know what it is, because then February 2nd to March 23rd is not nearly as long as November 16th and 17th, and then, December, January, February. It's like 9 weeks, and then it's like 6 or 7 for the next one.
Well, they just didn't want to put it in the middle of the holiday season, I guess.
Fuck that. The North American one's the weekend before Thanksgiving. People got to
further proof that. Good.
I was going to say, people have to travel the very next weekend, like that Wednesday, to go be with their families.
Yeah.
And the Japanese one was on Christmas last time.
What?
They don't give a fuck.
Like, let's take a break over the New Year.
Like,
it just furthers the point that we're not going to get this shit. We're never going to be last or second.
We're always going to be first every fucking
We're
time.
always going to be first.
We're never going to get... Hey, listen, they know we're really hyped about those trailers, man. We're going to have things. See you in France. I feel bad for the North American community team, dude. They got to set this up, finish it all, break it down, travel back, and then they just... I mean, I guess you could argue they have a long weekend the following weekend, but... Like, that's full, just going nuts right up until Thanksgiving. They ain't getting no break.
Well, you feel like you've earned it that way, right?
Canadian Thanksgiving doesn't count. I see that in the chat right there.
Wow.
What?
It's in October. It doesn't count.
Well, I mean...
Way to give a shit about other cultures, Happy. Fuck.
Listen, if they don't give a shit about the culture...
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any Australian holidays in November, so I don't give a shit.
All right. I hate all of you. Yeah, that's fine. Next live letter is going to be at E3, June 12th, the week after we presume Ultimate will be releasing. Eorzean Symphony is that Friday and Saturday as well. There's even going to be a cosplay red carpet for people to show off their cosplay as long as they have a ticket to attend either Friday or Saturday.
That's pretty awesome.
I am so jealous everyone is going to be there.
Did you hear what happened with me? Did I tell you what happened with me in the Eorzean Symphony?
No.
So, Mel and my, our anniversary is in July 20th. Mm-hmm. And so, as an early gift for our anniversary, she got us tickets to the Eorzean Symphony.
Okay.
Great.
Nice.
But
I hate symphonies. So I told her, yeah, can we not?
You don't tell it. If someone buys you a thoughtful early Christmas gift like that, you pretend to like it.
Can we not go? No, so here's the thing. Her and I have a history of this. If we don't like a gift, we just tell each other. She's told me.
So
I
why
tell
do you
her.
like symphonies? What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't absorb the atmosphere. That's all it is. It's not even like the symphony is bad. It's I don't absorb the atmosphere of it. I can't get into it in the environment. Like I'm very uncomfortable.
Like is it the?
So this is not. Let's be clear. This isn't a formal symphony. Like you don't have. Not everyone has to be dressed up and everything. But it's just like when I'm listening to music, like I like to listen to it kind of in my own zone. Like
you don't like live music.
No, I can enjoy. I've enjoyed live music before, but I don't take it. I need to. I'm still, even if I'm enjoying it live, I'm kind of enjoying it in my own bubble. But when at times I can just be distracted by everything around me. And I just can't enjoy it, especially because people are going to be cosplaying at this thing. Like I don't know. I can't get into it. I need kind of everyone in the area to be kind of on the same.
You're just an antisocial pussy, then, is what you're saying.
I'm not going to talk to people while they're playing music. That has nothing to do with being antisocial. What I'm going to be like, that's really good. So yeah, she refunded.
I get it, man. I get it. That's fine.
So she refunded them.
You don't want to go to an awesome fun event, like that's your prerogative.
No, I don't want to go. Also, it's the week after E3. Honestly, I'm just gonna be fucking tired. I'm just gonna want to rest. Sleeping, eh? Like I'm probably still gonna be in Ultimate, and on top of that, like, I'm just gonna be fucking exhausted. The last thing I want to do is the Friday after everything's done with E3. I just the last thing I want to do is even be in anything where I'm even remotely uncomfortable.
So what did you do with the tickets?
She refunded them.
He refunded them.
They were VIP tickets. She just refunded them.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
That hurts my soul.
That
hurts my soul. I'm sorry. I know you hate it, but that hurts.
It breaks my heart a little bit. Oh,
yeah, it hurts my soul.
I have nothing against the context or the people performing. I don't want to go.
Right,
because the last time I got her a gift, she was just like, I fucking hate it. And I was like, all right, I won't do that again. So I'm just like, she got me a gift. I was like, I have no interest in this. So
that's good. That's good. That speaks volumes about your relationship. That's
we're
really
honest. We're honest to you know, we're the opposite of being pussies, because we just got cojones. So just tell each other, nah, I don't like it. Well, the other person will just be like, okay, all right, I didn't know. It's my bad. That's it. It's done. That's how good we are. All right. And then they moving on. They're having a fate in Kyoto, which I don't think will have a live letter. I think it's just going to be a live event. The Square Enix, the Final Fantasy 14 team is going to be playing Tactics live tomorrow, as a matter of fact, for like 12 hours straight. They're going to be like passing the controller between like
that's crazy
5 different people, and then they're going to do it again next week. I think what this is, I thought maybe they were gearing up for something more tactics related, like some sort of announcement. I think this is just because for people who didn't play Tactics, I guess who specifically live in Japan, because, you know, we're not going to be able to read it if you haven't played it before. Is just to like give people an opportunity to watch it, understand it, you know, get a little bit of context before Return to Ivalice actually comes out. And apparently Japan has 2 more hours in the day than everyone else, because they're playing until 2600 hours.
That's the secret. That's how they work longer hours and they get more shit done.
Because they have 2 more hours.
They literally have 2 extra hours in the day.
There you go.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know either. It's new. This is brand new information.
It's crazy.
There'll be a 4.3 patch note reading. They teased the Primal album, the original soundtrack for Stormblood, and then they said goodbye, thank you for watching, and that was the end of the live letter. All right, we're done. I'm out. See you. That's it. All right, there you go. Anything else you want to hit on? Anything you want to say that we may not have dived into any deeper?
We pretty much covered pretty much all of it. And
I wanted to talk about Tsukuyomi, and we did that. I wanted to talk about Gaius. I always want to talk about Gaius, and we did that. So no, I'm satisfied. If everyone's satisfied,
we didn't really mention the stupid questions they got for the second part.
Not all of them were really stupid. There's just a lot of them that
there were a lot of stupid questions.
All right, let's see real quick. Final question: if Yoshi P told you to just do something, would you? He said he'd rather ask. If we was asked to restore the elemental system in 14, he'd do it. Maybe we can see a collab of a game other than 14 between Yoshi P and Yasumi Matsuno. If he asked me to do that, I'd do that too. What's another one? What's the biggest motivation for him when working? User response, basically the user's enjoyment. Any food you want to implement in 14 that's not there? He wants something ethnic, something Thalvanian.
What does that mean? Something ethnic?
I don't know.
Sounds racist.
No, ethnic is not a racist term.
No. Okay, so
donuts.
When you talk about ethnic food, you're generally referring to food of like a different culture. To what?
Yeah, so donuts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like American food would be ethnic food from his perspective.
What's something in Australia that's like exclusive to Australia?
Meat pies.
Oh, I should have known that. I've watched that episode of Kitchen Nightmares a million times.
Meat
where the
pies.
Australian dude just like, oh, meat pies, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
All right, then Australian meat pies.
Sausage rolls, Vegemite.
Freaking insects.
Yeah, giant insects, lamingtons.
Wow.
Yeah, we got lots of stuff.
Yeah. Any game you think people should be paying attention to when it comes out? And he said Red Dead Redemption 2. Looks like it'll be cool. What kind of game?
Fair point.
What kind of game would you want to develop other than Return to Ivalice in the Final Fantasy 14? He'd love to write a scenario where Damaska is liberated from the Empire, not destroyed in the way it is now.
Well, I was about to say, it's like, maybe you should have done that then, rather than fucking destroying it.
There you go. What's something he likes about 14 other than story? And he said, no, he's like, I really like the story. Like, it's hard to pick something other than the story. When creating games, what's the thing you prioritize? He said, deadlines. Deadlines and that it's fun.
Well, he's got his boss sitting next to him, so,
It's not his boss. It's his boss for this title. He works on other things.
He has to put on a good face.
Yeah. Any references or influence? Shakespeare. It says Shakespeare. Shakespeare. That's what happens when you just grab a ball and you just shake it. And that's what you get. Shakespeare. What kind of notes does he take when he's developing scenario and dialogue? He just writes them as he feels like it. Oh yeah, sure. I guess I need notes on that. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's the correct way to be writing dialogue. You want to write it intuitively and not overthink it.
He said, someone asked, can we get a Final Fantasy Tactics Advance sequel? And he said, beg the Square Enix CEO if you want that. Just beg him.
We have a Tactics Advance sequel. It's called Tactics A2.
No, but I mean, they mean another one. More sequels, not just A2. Even more. They want the series to continue.
I'd be down for that.
There you go. And then, it's just, will they include more Tactics Advance stuff in the thing? Okay, cool. Can they make some type of gimmick in a strategic RPG gameplay style tactics in the 14s with the grid format and you attack based on selection? I don't know. It's that's it. I don't know. Can we get the clothes that Ramza and Alma wear? Maybe eventually. Who knows? Let's see. There you go. Amamiya designs also be seen in the next part of Return to Ivalice. All right, cool. Yeah, more dick chariots. Anyway. Well, now you have Namazu chariot, so you just draw dicks all over that, and you'll be happy, Sly. There you go. Just for you. You started this months ago. You know that, right?
Sure. Look, it was a team effort. Like, Slyh might have started it, but if no one else was into it, it would have died pretty quickly.
Into dicks.
We all do like a good dick chariot from time to time.
Yeah, from time to say. It's been since 4.1, you know. There you go. What's it called? What kind of exploration gimmicks will there be in the Pharos or in Arana? So there'll be some new stuff, but just there'll be some fun stuff. And the battle was created by Mr. Ozma himself, so please look forward to it. Someone said, "Can we fight Yasmat?" And he just went,
I don't know, can we?
No comment. So that's what he did. How are the bosses decided? Created based on the... One of these questions were dumb. I'm reading all of them. None of these questions are dumb.
Yeah, some of them are pretty dumb.
Prima Vista has a lot of NPCs, and Yasumi wants to make stories for people that are in the Prima Vista. He said, "Oh no, can you make stories for the individuals there?" He says, "No, we'll just flesh them out on subsequent." Like, what's dumb about that? What's dumb about any of this? I don't see any dumb questions. I just read through all of them again for you.
Yeah, all right.
I feel lied to. Where's the dumb one? Give me a dumb one.
I'm scrolling out the room.
What are the dumb ones? I don't see. There's no peaches here. The dumbest one is what food would you like to add? That's the only.
That's pretty dumb.
That's the only dumb. It's not even that dumb.
That's pretty dumb.
If they asked him a question. That's it. That's it. I don't think.
All right. Okay. All right. Look, maybe I didn't really pay much attention to the questions because they're always so dumb that I just kind of tuned out.
You fucking.
Maybe I'm so used to them being consistently dumb that when it comes to question time, I go and make myself a drink.
The only dumb thing is the fucking... Here, why don't we grab some questions from the North American fucking thread where they were asking questions. You want to get some dumb questions?
Oh, okay.
You guys want some dumb questions?
Yeah, you want some dumb fucking questions. Let's go to the fucking official forum thread.
All right.
Oh, yeah, so let's see. Yasumi Matsuno. Let's see. So the questions are specifically for Yasumi Matsuno, right? About the return to Evilise racing. All right, great. Let's see what one of the first fucking questions is. All right, let's get some quality questions right here. All right, let's see. Will you be fixing the major bot problem in the Chaos Data Center and the RMT bot problem, being able to report them in game? Also, mobile app, can you cap the market board part fully? If you do want, you'll end the market. A lot of us players are not happy with it. Can we get Chocobo Talon boots? Can we add glamour variants of the Genji armor from Deltascape? When are we getting a sequel to Little Samson?
Yeah, and these are...
I'm reading them right from the fucking first page, dude. Like,
that's so good. So these... I just think it's so funny. They make it so clear, like, who these questions are for.
And what they're supposed to be about.
And it's like, excuse me, Mr. Evilise writer, can you please fix my bot problem?
I kind of like the elemental wheel of Eureka. Is it technically feasible to add it to Return to... At least it's about Return to Evilise content. And also, can we get an adrenaline... no. So at least they're asking about Return to Evilise. And then... and can we get an adrenaline rush gauge so we can skill chain and magic burst?
Fuck.
Will Voidark, Weeping City, and Dumbscape ever have their pets and cards put as loot for individual groups and the pet drops up to every time like Crystal Tower?
God. All right, look, we get it. All right, there were way dumber questions in the thread. And
can we get glamour equipment from Square Enix's title, The Bouncer from 2000?
What? What? All right, so everyone has just heard their questions read out in the last couple of minutes here. Called out.
What is the status of Eggy Glamours? I'm just saying, like, these would have qualified.
Yeah, all right, okay.
Thank you, Mike. I needed this. Thank you so much.
I'm glad. At least there's like 6 Vieira questions in here too somewhere.
All right. So the community team did a good job of choosing questions.
Yeah, give them credit where credit's due. They didn't.
Not to the question askers.
We were saying like all of them were done. There were some relatively Peaches questions, but yeah, like the questions you listed were just...
A couple of Peaches always tend to like slip through, don't they?
Yeah, but Peaches get rotten.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
You had to ruin it. You had to ruin it.
No.
Had a good laugh.
I think we're done.
Matsuno, what do you think about the companion app?
Thanks for coming, guys.
At least they addressed Matsuno.
It's been really good.
All right.
Yeah. Next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah. So what we're hoping is the patch notes will be live next Friday prior to us actually going live. I have to check when they go live. I'm pretty sure midnight Thursday, technically 12:01 a.m. Friday is when they technically go live. Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like there's been times where I've expected them to be up already when I wake up Friday and they're not. But I took a look and Friday 12:01 a.m. is when they generally do go live. So yeah, that's the plan for next week. We're going to be talking about the patch notes, preliminary patch notes. Expected to be another long show. And again, to next week, Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, that'll be the same for the following week. It'll be another Friday. The week Ultimate comes out, it'll be a Friday one. And then the week that there's a live letter at E3, arguably, we should probably do it on fucking Friday because I won't be going to the Symphony, so I'm perfectly available to do it that Friday. A lot of Friday shows. Lot of Friday shows. Just happens to be that way because it's just better for the next few weeks, you know? It's just easier. And the week of the patch as well. So, happens to be a lot of shit going on. What can I say? I'm sorry. Yeah. And spoiler cast doesn't matter what we do that week. Fuck it, we can do that anyway.
No, it's right. Yeah, spoiler cast. We'll just give Ethys like 20 minutes notice. Like he's got it. It's fine.
Hey, listen, I can already tell you which week we're doing that show. We're doing that show the week of the 29th. That 29th would be the Tuesday of that week. So that's like, if we were to do it on Friday, that's what? I think there's only 30 days in May, right? So it's 30.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be June 2nd. Hey, would you like to be on the show June 2nd, Ethys, at 4 p.m. Pacific specifically? You can think about it if you want.
Give some thought.
Yeah, all right.
All right. He's down. That's good. That's good to know. Okay. There you go. Was there 31 days in May? Fuck it, then it's June 1st. I don't fucking know. There you go. It's June 1st then. Just fucking be
That's
there.
my birthday.
Happy birthday. But I know when we're having the show, your birthday will be over.
Yeah, that'll be the day after my birthday because it's Straya.
Oh, you're fucked then. We can't do the show that day. You're going to be fucking drunk.
Yeah.
You won't fucking wake up in time.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
You won't fucking wake up in time.
Show of hands who doesn't want to see a spoiler cast with Ethys being like super hungover.
You're going to be like, yeah, like there's a primal and fuck it. That's how I imagine it going.
It'll be fine.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week.
Oh, anytime, guys.
I appreciate it. Slyh, do you appreciate it?
I always appreciate it.
All right, see, it's good. I'm glad this comes full circle now. We know where we all stand with each other.
We all appreciate each other.
That's good. That's a good step forward. It's good communication in this relationship. All right, before we do our sign-offs, I want to do our Patreon sign-offs as per usual. Gonna do them before the outros, I think, from now, because it was a little awkward last week doing it that way. So thank you to our supporters over on Patreon for combating hashtag demonetized, so we could talk about dick chariots and Ethys can yell obscenities and I can yell obscenities, and then we can talk about dick chariots some more, and I can say it as many times as I want, but thanks to Patreon, that's it's good. It doesn't really matter all that much, So we got to thank all of our patrons. We'll start with our patron of light, who I have their updated image for. It's Khuja Cross of the Jenova server, and they bought the angel outfit. Listen, Khuja, thank you for supporting every week, but those wings are tacky, man. I'm just gonna say,
are fucking awful.
I think the rest of the outfit doesn't look that bad. It's just the wings. Like if the robe just existed on its own, or like you could hide the wings. Like, it'd be a pretty damn cool outfit. Although I gotta say, they don't look as tacky in this picture that you provided. Like, It's just like an angel that's telling you to, I'm gonna step on you, like Yatsu style. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Khuja, for supporting stream, being the patron of light all these weeks. You're awesome. And I did get your picture.
So much.
And I already have his picture for next week, but this one, I'm going to go in order for this one right here. Let's have all of our other sponsors. We have our standard sponsors, starting with the Suka Wake on the Jenova server, Lamilla Nella of Midgard-Sormer, Serren the Avalanche family on Malboro, Janhyua Odin of Tonberry, Nairik of Clan Viszla, Kifca and the Grey Eagles on Exodus, Darkgraver, Kadayoshi from Khuja, Skia Symphonia from Ragnarok, Rah Xephon from Exodus, Rylanator Westaur the Purple Warrior, Eadric Redsteele on Exodus, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru the Rivivus FC from Zodiark, Sour Tribes from Jenova, Rynoet Chikara, Goetia Valefar, Hersh Fersh of Faerie, Phoenix Down FC on Goblin, Serren from Zodiark. Those are our standard sponsors. My list just ended there without the little solid line I normally have. Probably because it's the start of the month just happened and I haven't updated the list yet, so it's not separating them properly. But I have all the names, so that's all that matters. Moving on to our elite sponsors, we have Detneko, we have Diablo, Holy Tabasco, Red Thorn Asura, Kurenai Oni, Askin Hawk. Oh, Kurenai, look at that. Can we dress you up? We need to max reputation first. That's right. We got to wait a little bit. There you go. Askin Hawk from Shiva, Oscar, Crass015, Mustang, the Serenity FC on Ultros, Kat Kazuma, Serial Kira and the Reckless Tea Party on Cactar, Ignis Farragon from Diablos, Valestra of Fanfrit, Not Quarters from Excalibur, Corvus Moonscar, Private Mikey, my list just completely lost it. Spike, Nadine Kirasame, Rudy Rudiger, Tin Colossus, Killer Hackman, Rawl Jr., Ramil Gaming, and Kiltastic Jones. Thank you to all of our sponsors for supporting. Now, one thing that's going to be available tomorrow, this is not just for the sponsors, it's for everyone. In the YouTube comment section, and there's going to be a command for it in the chat probably in Twitch tomorrow, SteelSeries has started wanting to sponsor the broadcast as well. Now, I don't have to do like a crazy read for it in the middle of the show, or at least, I haven't been instructed to do so just yet. However, they would like to give you guys one giveaway a month. So the details of that giveaway are going to be in a Gleam link in the YouTube link. It's not going to be Twitch exclusive. We're going to let the YouTube and Twitch side of both participate in it to make sure we're 100% fair. And we're going to be drawing that once a month. So basically at the start of every month, the idea is we're going to be introducing the Gleam. You guys have the whole month to enter for it. And then at the end of the month, during one of the shows live, we'll pull a winner. We'll start the next one right away. And then you guys will have free stuff. So basically, State of the Realm now, you get free stuff. SteelSeries has been my sponsor for a long time. Now also wanting to give some stuff to those of you who enjoy the podcast week after week after week. And at this point, year after year after year, because we've been through quite a few of these at this point. So thank you to SteelSeries for sponsoring State of the Realm. And hopefully you guys win. One of you wins the giveaway. You got one of you who's got to win. Just fucking win it. That'll be in the YouTube comment section and in the Twitch command starting tomorrow, or when you guys see it on YouTube right now. On that note, now you guys can sign off. It took me like 20 years to get to it, but now you guys can sign off. All right, sounds good. I guess we'll start with Ethys. We can start with him if
sure. I'm Ethys.
Well, hold on a sec there, buddy. hold on a sec. Because your nameplate didn't update automatically like it was supposed to, and I fixed it. So now it's fixed. There you go. Enjoy.
Thank you. I'm Ethys. Hi everyone. What's going on? I've been here for the last couple of hours. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere as Ethys Asher, and that's me. I do lots of things, and I do them in those places. And then there's Slyh.
What the fuck was that? The Slyh.
Slyh. Hi.
Hi, Slyh.
You can. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
No, this is about you. This moment's about you.
Oh, I care about you too. Thank you.
I don't care about me, so it's fine. Just take the moment, Slyh.
Well, you can find me on twitch.tv/Slyh, aka Greyfox, Twitter @Slythefox, Instagram Slyh, aka Greyfox07, YouTube @The Velvet Room. Yeah, find me there. All those places. Let's see you.
Slyh's a fresh new Dauntless partner now, by the way. I'm shouting it out because you won't. I've been a Dauntless. And yeah, they're both new Dauntless partners. These two, look.
Yes. Yeah, we're both fresh Dauntless partners. Hey,
let's hunt some shit.
Beta on the 24th.
24th.
Yeah, you come sub to Slyh and I, and you will get cool things in game.
There you go. I just
That
wanted to
sounds
shout
some
that out because now all three of us are Dauntless partners.
Hey.
Hey, there you go. Dauntless Podcast win. What do we call it? State of Ramsgate?
That sounds good.
That's a terrible name. I would never name a show that.
State of the Isles.
The Shattered Cast. There you go.
That's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
There you go. All right. Well, now if someone else is gonna take it, so we're fine. Okay, I'm gonna sign off now. If that's okay. Is it cool?
It's all right.
I mean, I guess.
All right. Yeah, I guess I can take a few seconds. You can find me, Mr. Happy1227, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all those things. I'm there, believe it or not. Yeah. So we have a lot of stuff coming up. I'm currently in the middle of my 4-year partnerversary here on Twitch. The workout wheel has been beating my ass. I currently have 7 spins that's owed to the chat, where basically every 4 subs or resubs, or a certain amount of cheers, tips, whatever, I spin a wheel and I do those workouts. And I've been doing extras on top of that. I have push-ups, squats, running in place, and crunches, and then you can make me do all 4 of them. And on top of that, I now have to do them all in a Kigurumi for the rest of the month, because we reached a certain goal on that as well. So I had to buy a T-Rex Kigurumi on top of the Hello Kitty one I had for a previous event. So those things are not great in Los Angeles in May. Let me tell you, those are not great. Not even worse to do push-ups in. I can tell you that right now.
Good for you, man. Good for you. That's good.
I'm feeling pretty good. Some events we got coming up, as they mentioned, Dauntless Open Beta, May 24th. We have patch 4.3 on May 22nd. Bless Online just announced that they are having their closed beta access starting on May 28th for founders and May 30th for, I guess, for other types of founders. I don't know. I haven't looked at all the details just yet. On top of that, I've currently been playing MapleStory 2's closed beta, which I am not a MapleStory 1 fan, but MapleStory 2's been an interesting thing to, endeavor into. So it's been a pretty friggin' busy month. And I don't think it gets any less busy going forward. So hang out in the Twitch stream and look out for some stuff on the YouTube side of things, because it's going to be busy. But anyway, on that note, I think we can finally wrap up this week's State of the Realm after saying 1,000,001 things here at the end. Practically as long as some of the sections of the show, but what are you going to do? No MapleStory 2 podcast. That's not happening.
Oh no.
Listen, I've been having fun. I've been saying I didn't think I would have fun, and
not that much fun.
Dude, what would I name that podcast? Don't say the state of the maple. We're done with the state of, all right? Just
holy shit, there are actually MapleStory podcasts.
Of course there are. You know how popular that game has been over the years?
Huge.
Yeah, it's been huge. Did you just Google MapleStory podcast? Of course there's. Of course. The Maple State is Canada. We can't name the podcast the Maple State. And I know Canada's not a state. It's not a country either. So who the fuck?
What have I been missing?
All right, there you go. I don't know. Have you been missing MapleStory podcasts in your life, Sly? Is that the missing key to your existence?
Is that what you need to be complete? MapleStory podcast.
Is that what you need?
Maybe. Just maybe.
Maybe. You never know.
Never know. All right. This is gonna be fun on YouTube. I can't wait to see the comment section. But anyway. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this week. We're going to move on over into a post-show for a few minutes, and then I am going to go eat and hopefully lay down, because I've been up since 2 a.m. my time. It is now 6:28 p.m. my time, and I've eaten once all day. So I'm a little low on energy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it sounds like you need some food.
Yeah, it was about 9 a.m. I ate. So I guess I had a little beef jerky Mel bought me. But I guess that counts. That's a snack. So I'm good. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you next week to talk about the preliminary patch notes for patch 4.3. We'll see you then. And until then, take care.
Bye.
See you next week.